Hello, welcome to the Truth Runs Deep podcast. I'm Terryn,
I'm Kalli.
and we're here to talk about all things Law and Order, SVU, fanfic writing, and more. It's been a hot minute since we've been here. It's been
We're
like 2 weeks.
alive.
We are alive.
We're alive. We
We are
promise.
alive.
We're
Yeah,
alive. We're
we
here.
are alive nonetheless. We did a lot of stuff that happened in the past 2 weeks. I went out of town for my sorority regionals, and that was cool. I also got sick
And
after that.
it's
I
like,
got sick.
it's
That
like,
also was that's not fun, or as my friend would say, not cash money. I preached a sermon. I did that on between then and now. I went on another trip
yeah.
last weekend. I had a lot of school work to do. I finished it, and I'm not sick anymore. And here we are. So we've
And
been
I saw
busy.
Annie.
You
That's
did.
it. That's all I did. Oh, well,
Hmm.
okay. I saw Annie, and on it was amazing, and I loved it so much. I had seen it like on in the movie and the
Hmm.
NBC live production. Never
Yeah,
saw
the
it
Christmas one
live,
was so good. It was on. That
and
was
I love
last
it
year.
so
Was
much.
it 2 years ago? When it was on TV?
I
Last
think
year or two
last,
years ago?
I think last
I don't
year.
remember. It all blended
Um,
together.
Anyway, I loved it. It's so amazing. Um, and then on Monday, I start classes um for my graduate degree to become
Ooh.
a licensed teacher. So
Ooh.
I'm so
I'm very
excited, but I'm
excited for
also
you.
nervous. So
School.
yeah, that's what's happening with us.
Busy people. I go on spring break next in like a week, so we
I
can just
was on spring
yeah.
break.
Yeah.
I
Law
had
and
to,
Order hasn't been. Also, we haven't been that upset about not recording because Law and Order hasn't been on. It won't be on again until next
that's
Thursday.
literally the only reason why I'm not having anxiety over it
Yeah.
because I
While
knew
we haven't like been like, oh, we have to record. No, we have like a month almost to be like, we have time.
I have to catch up on the Chicago shows though, because I work
So I
a
don't
lot
remember. I gotta
on
watch them
Sis,
again. I was too busy playing Kirby. I was
and
too
I
busy playing
didn't think
Kirby in my hovel hole because I didn't pay attention.
after the 500th episode, I thought the shows were done. Um, I didn't
Not
know we still had
500,
another week
200.
to
They're
say
not
that.
coming. It's 200 for them. But they don't have an episode
200.
next week. They don't have one next week though. If their next one is the 23rd, 22nd, and Law and Order's 23rd.
I
We
have
have
two
time.
weeks of to get. I have 2 weeks of Chicago shows I need to catch up on.
Yeah. You need to 911 came back Monday and it was so good. But it's a wild ending. So I gotta watch it again because my mom said she didn't watch it. So I
I
gotta go
have
home and be like, we have to watch 911. And I watched
sorry,
that one
y'all,
at
and
home. What
off
else?
and it.
Nothing else we watched. There's a week we I've been playing Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe religiously in my free time because
I
they
need to figure out if I'm gonna buy it because it's
yeah.
like video games are expensive
Yeah,
nowadays. Like
especially
it's six,
Like Nintendo games are expensive, and
and that's
like
like the only game
regular,
I play.
yeah, Nintendo games are expensive, but like regular like indie games aren't. But I love that game. Like I finished it for the normal mode. I finished the normal mode last night, and it was nostalgic. You guys have never played this game. Kirby's Return to Dreamland came out in 2011 on the Wii, and
What?
on the Wii. So I realized when I was playing it on the Switch how hard the Wii makes it way harder. It is way easier on the Switch. Also, it looks way prettier, and it's the same game. They added they added like a carnival attraction game you can play. So you have like 10 mini games you can play. There's like the sub game, and they have like the arena, the true arena. I haven't unlocked the true arena yet, and they have this game is one of the Kirby games that has an extreme extra mode, which is the whole game again but harder, and you have less health. And something about that game is I've played this game on the Wii like 10 times, both modes. So like I know every single thing about this game, and
I'm
I got every
debating.
single yeah, I got every single gear in the game. Like Kirby doesn't have the little like link to get per level. I have every single one. I never have done this before in my life, but you really when I played this game when I was like 10 and playing I'm 20. Yeah, you probably didn't expect me to do it. But now I feel like I've achieved a goal. You don't even get a reward for it. You don't get like you get like little character like a little mask. Like the
You get
carnival, they have
my
like
applause. That's what you get.
yeah. In the carnival, you can get like your mask for Kirby to wear of like different characters and stuff. You don't even get one for that. You just get the challenge. There's challenges where you can use the capabilities, and the last one is the normal challenge. so I might do that later. Sorry, that's off the topic. That's my favorite game of all time. Sorry, Kirby Return Dreamland's favorite game
Terran
of
is
all time.
I'm trying to see if
I have a
everything
Kirby hat. Also,
Terran
that I
going
forgot
to
I
get
had.
me to buy the game, but
I
I'm
have a
still
Kirby hat that I
not.
forgot I had. That's look, I never put it on, but I forgot I had it.
Kirby, I want to
I do
see.
have a Kirby right. And
I want to see it.
I forgot I had this. This is really loud. The plastic's very loud. It's a Kirby hat. I forgot I had this. I never pulled it out, and now it's March and hot, so now I won't put it on again. It's kind of cute. Actually, I'm
It's
gonna hit the
so
vibe
cute.
wearing this curly. We're keeping it on as we record because we're inside and that's not hot outside. So
If you're not watching on Spotify and you can't see it, I promise you, Terran looks so cute. The hat is
I
so
also have,
cute.
this is my bag that I got this for my birthday. I bought this for my birthday, I think. But yes, I have a Kirby hat on my head. Um. Anyway, that is all.
Oh,
Sorry, that's all the tangent I have for today. And also, we haven't watched this episode in like 2 weeks, so if you get the details, kind of, sorry about that.
damn it. Oh, I'm like obsessed with this mobile game.
Hmm.
Um, but I had like a 14 game win streak, and now I have fallen into a really bad
That's
losing
like when I was
streak.
playing. Yeah, when I was playing Angry
Frustrating.
Birds Pop, and was playing Angry Birds Pop like every day, and I got to I had like a 37 win streak.
Okay.
Anyway,
Um,
that is
yeah,
off
so if you
the
see I distracted. That's why. Yeah. Where did you get you need to send me that
But
link of wherever you got the hat because I want it.
okay, it comes in different colors, but I feel like pink is the traditional color you should get.
Pink is Kirby. I want the hat, bestie.
The hat. Okay, I'm gonna see. I gotta find the. Where did I buy it? What was it called? Anyway, I gotta find this. Law and Order. Well, anything related to the show happened? Not really. Nothing's happened because
Oh, yes.
it
Yes.
has. There's a couple birthdays that
Betty
happened.
Buckley is back on
Betty
set.
is back. Yeah,
Betty
there's a
Buckley is
couple
back.
birthdays. There's been a couple birthdays, and then Betty is
A whole
back. It's
crap
what
ton
we.
of birthday. Literally March and April is the month of cast member birthdays. I
Yeah,
did
we
research
had
it.
birthdays, and we had Betty is back. Okay,
Yeah, so
okay.
Betty Buckley is back on set. Yay! I'm so happy about
I did.
that.
I missed Betty a lot. I was like, bro, I miss Miss Magical.
It took me a second because she posted a picture of a bouquet of these gorgeous yellow flowers that Mariska
Yeah,
gave
she said
her.
Mariska
It was
said for my first day back on set, and I was like,
I didn't see the back where the word back at first, so I thought it just said first day on set. I was like, oh, that's so sweet. And then I read the post again and I was like, she's back. Also the fact that Mariska got her flowers.
yeah, it's just very sweet. Well, Mariska's just a very sweet person.
Yes.
I
Okay,
found the hat. I
birthdays.
was like, I knew where I gotten it from. I'll send you the link to buy the hat. It's only like $10.
Yay.
It's like ten
It's only
dollars.
what?
Like $10.
Even better. My parents are gonna be like, what the heck? And I'm like,
Listen, listen, it's only
it's like,
$10.
well, if you don't want me to spend $50 on a Kirby game, and I'm buying the hat.
Yeah, the
And
game's
it's
probably
winter
around time.
here, and winter here is actually a thing, and I need a hat, so I might as well buy it.
We live in like polar opposite climates. For me, it is like
She's in
85.
Alabama. I'm in Massachusetts.
It's currently like today, I think it was today currently to 72. But yesterday it was like 85. So
Currently,
winter
right now,
sucks.
we're
I like packed up
at
all my winter stuff to take home to
45.
get spring clothes.
We're at 45 degrees.
Okay.
I
45
hate
is
it.
cold for Alabama, but not, it could be colder, but if we went Alabama, we're gonna die. Okay, sorry.
Okay,
That
so
is
we said
all.
there was birthdays. We
There's
said there was
birthdays.
birthdays.
There's Peter and Danny Young.
Peter Peter has
The
Peter has a very special
the
birthday. So
we didn't
he's
finish
one
it.
of only a handful of people in the world probably that
Mm-hmm.
have a birthday that falls on a leap year. So his birthday is February 29th. so it means he technically has a birthday every 4 years, but
Mhm.
he's still, like, in his late 40s.
Yeah, I think next year is a leap year.
Yeah,
I
I
believe
think so
next
too.
year is.
But everybody still we all still
We did.
the even, like, the show, like, celebrated on the 28th.
Yeah, they always make their like little birthday posts for everybody.
And all, like, the celebratory emojis.
They do. They do it for every
And
single
then
person on there, for
2
all of
days
them.
later,
Yes,
March 2nd, is
Danielle's
was
birthday.
Danielle's birthday.
She had a great
Um,
time.
she went yeah, she did if you follow on her Instagram, you know she had, like, a
She had a great time.
wonderful time,
There's something else
as
we
she
need
should.
to say. Yeah, so like
Um,
we wrote fics for them, but we didn't finish them because we got distracted.
yeah,
We'll finish them
we
eventually.
put them out eventually. Don't know
Eventually,
when
may
that will
just be
be, but
like when we
we'll
have
put them out.
time, we're just gonna like finish every fic and just be like, here you go, take them all
I know, literally, one at a time. Not it won't even be one at a time, it'll just happen. Probably when
this
Terryn's on
summer.
break and I am.
Next week will
One of
probably.
those
I
days.
mean, week after next. I only have one paper to write next week, so once I finish
Yeah,
the
next
paper
week
and
we'll
turn it
probably
in,
start the mass
I will
writing
be.
thing.
Yeah, once I
Um,
turn that paper in, I'm free for like 10 days.
yay.
Okay.
So the birthday I have personal days saved up, so I'll probably keep that in mind.
Yeah,
The next birthdays that we have, unless I'm forgetting something, are both in April. Um, Grace, not Grace, that's a character's name.
Molly.
Molly, Molly's birthday and Kelly's birthday are both in April, like a week or two after each other.
Mm-hmm.
Molly is the 13th, and then Kelly is the I know this. She's like the 23rd. Hold on. Let me double check.
Mm-hmm.
I know this. No, Kelly is the 13th, April 13th. And Molly is the 23rd.
We're gonna,
So I had the dates right,
I'll be
just don't
almost done with school. I'll
So
be like
yeah.
almost done with school.
Unless I'm forgetting about somebody, those are the next two birthdays we have. Yay. Um, okay. I think that's all of the actual news.
Yeah, we gotta get to the point.
Um, that I can think of. I don't think I have anything else.
Mm-hmm. It's been a hot minute since we watched the episode, so like I watched it like
Bear
when I
with
came
us.
home, and then so we're gonna like talk through them, but our notes are very detailed. So like for the most part, the general consensus of the episode will be hold oh okay. Making sure we're just sorry. That's not told tomorrow, it's fine. Just
All right.
but I'll be
Um,
out of school.
so are we just gonna go right
Yeah,
into it?
let's jumping in. So it is 22:15. I think they're 15. I forgot to write them down. I think they're
I
15.
just know the title. I don't know numbers. I just know titles.
I think they're 15.
And
Might
the
be
episode is called Fear and
Fear and
Loathing,
Loathing. I think they're
which when we get
15.
to like the actual context of the episode,
You'll see what's
very
called.
fitting.
Also, we may wait. Oh, also they didn't show any trailers for any of the episodes, so we don't
So
have
we don't
trailers
know.
to talk about. We only have info. We have info information about SVU, and that is it. So when we get to that, that's all we can tell you because we don't know.
What do we know about that?
That was the one.
Oh yeah, yeah. Never mind. Is that the one that the summary that's been floating around?
Yeah, that's the one. That's her.
Yeah.
Fear and Loathing.
Um.
Not Law and Order. I didn't say SVU. I want to know to make sure I have this correct.
It's It's the Law and Order episode.
I know, I'm gonna make sure it's 15. I'm pretty sure, just because it keeps it's trying to tell. When I googled it, it tried to put SVU, but I'm not looking for SVU. I'm looking for
Yeah, they do that a lot.
yeah, yeah, it's 15. That's correct. Fear and Loathing is 15.
Right.
Okay.
We lit like they like the promo the in the promo they showed like what's happening in the episode.
Hmm.
Um, but I wasn't expecting it to be the first
Yeah,
thing
it
that
was
was
one of the, it was one of the
fucking
times where like it jumped straight to it. It was just one time it doesn't skip. A lot of the time they like take like the middle or towards the end and make the trailer. But when it like jumps immediately to like the content, you're like, oh,
yeah. So it literally starts with it's like a cold day and like Shaw
mm-hmm,
is walking down the street heading to a crime scene when he gets stopped by two other cops, two white cops.
mm-hmm,
Um,
mm-hmm.
for 1 second.
They thought he was they they saw him and they refused like they thought he was a suspect in a murder. They were chasing this guy and I thought it was him. And he was like, I'm the police. He was like, let me show you my badge. But they weren't like taking that.
Like they weren't even letting him reach into his pocket. They just
Yeah, to
thought
be
he
like,
was
let me show
reaching.
you my badge. I am the police. Like they weren't taking that. And they like shove him into the wall because they're
Yeah.
like, we think this is the guy. They think he's the murder
Um,
suspect they were chasing.
and that's when Cosgrove shows up
Hmm.
and he immediately rushes over and he's like pulling the cops away from Shaw. And
Hmm.
then he's like, "What the hell is wrong with you?"
Hmm.
They tell Shaw they're looking for a murder spot. Nope. He thought
Yeah. So he thought that, um, yeah, like the guy thought that he was the murder suspect, and that didn't make any sort of like sense because it's a kind of a stereotype that he was, a black man, that they assumed that he was the black man that they were looking for. So, all right, got post nasal drip still in my throat.
sorry, I had like a bout of like anxiety for a second and I was getting frustrated because I couldn't find my words. Um, yeah, so the white cops look at Cosgrove and were like, we thought he was the murder suspect. And then Shaw gets angry and starts to rush the two. Cosgrove has to pull him back. And
Mm-hmm.
Shaw immediately goes, "Why? Why did you think that?"
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the guys are like, a lot of, he's like, "Why did you think that?" I said I was a cop. And the cops are like, a lot of people say they're cops.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just like, mm,
Yeah, they kind of just blow it off. They're like, whatever. Um,
um, then the cops, like, basically, like, Cosgrove gets the cops to leave. And Cosgrove looks at Shaw and he's like, "Are you good?" And Shaw just walks away and he says, "Just another day in paradise." And I was
mm-hmm.
like, ugh. Like, this episode is already hurting hard and we literally just started. Um, then they actually finally get to the murder scene
Yeah,
where
rather
they were
quickly.
trying to
This is
go.
all like 5 minutes in the episode.
Um, and then there's this guy on the ground who was killed. He's a
Mm-hmm.
doctor. Um, Cosgrove says, he saved others, but he couldn't save himself. And I'm like, one of those like one-liners that like the show is known for, but it's also like, ouch. Um,
Yeah.
hold on 1 second. I'm
Uh,
almost done.
so the next part.
The
Like,
next
oh,
thing
they
is
they
literally just I think it's Shaw in their like break room when the
yeah.
cop comes over to
Mhm.
like try to get a peace offering.
Yeah. And I should like be like, we good? He's like, no.
And Shaw's like,
Yeah.
no, hell no. Um,
Mm,
he's like, the cop was the white cop was very specific, and he said we were looking for a murder suspect. Um, and the thing is, they had no like details about the murder suspect at all at that
mm.
point.
No,
So
they were just making assumptions.
Shaw, yeah, literally makes the assumption. They're making assumptions, and Shaw makes the point: the murderer could have been a 5 foot white woman, and yet you were still looking at. They were still looking at him.
Mhm.
Um, and then the guy is like, "I think really hard about your next move because you're in this is a brotherhood."
Mhm.
And Shaw's like, "Yeah, a brotherhood that's run by the color blue." Um, and then the guy left,
Mhm.
and Shaw threw his peace offering in the trash,
It was
which
like a
I
bottle of
don't believe him.
alcohol or something.
Yeah, it was like wine or whatever, and Shaw's like, nope.
Mhm.
Um, then their next thing is a conversation between Cosgrove and Shaw, and at
Yeah.
one point, Cosgrove makes a point that says, "I'm white. Things like that never happened to me," and
Mhm.
Shaw was like, "Nope."
Mhm.
Um, and it's so interesting to me. I know they did this with when Anthony Anderson was on the show, but
Mhm.
they only like on it like briefly. I think now that they have Shaw and Cosgrove, they're touching more so
Yeah.
on the um factors at play that Cosgrove is a white man, Shaw is a black man, and the
Mhm.
difference it is for them not only in their personal lives but as the cops as well.
Mhm.
Um, so then they get back to the case at hand. They go to talk to the doctor who was killed, his ex-girlfriend. Um, and how like her new boyfriend was like frustrated that like her ex was around. Um,
Mhm.
he runs a security camera company,
Yeah.
but the only people who like key security cameras, like it was supposed to be like
Mm.
security cameras to catch crimes, but the only crimes that the security cameras were noticing were all ones committed
Yeah.
by minors.
Mhm.
Um, Shaw and Cosgrove then go to talk to a man. His last name is Burke. Uh, who was robbed, and they say it was a black man who did it.
Mhm.
Um, we transition back to their precinct, and they're trying to do some more investigating. But Dixon, um, oh, pause. Knew we had something else.
Mhm.
Cameron's birthday was yesterday,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember seeing it, and I forgot.
and it's how fitting is it that her birthday is International Women's Day?
Mhm.
Like, how iconic. Um, okay, just had to point
Mhm.
that out, especially because in this next scene, her acting and McCodd's acting is on fire. So Dixon
Yeah.
pulls Shaw into her office, um, and she's just outright. She's like Wagner and Farley, the two white cops that stopped
Mhm.
Shaw, um, are filing a complaint against him
Yeah.
because he's filing a complaint against them.
Yeah.
They say that he didn't follow protocol by getting on his knees when they said, and Shaw was like, I don't get on my knees for anybody. Um,
Mhm.
and I think that's like such a powerful thing that Shaw is 100% affirmed in who he is as a black man and as a cop, that even in a situation like that, with guns pointed at him, he's like, I'm not gonna do it if I didn't do anything wrong.
Mhm.
Um, and then Dixon's like, as much as I hate to admit, you know exactly how it is when a cop goes after another cop. And she says, this is the kind of thing that's going to destroy your career. And no,
Yeah.
no, I
That's
like
what I
this
was gonna
guy.
say. Yeah.
He's
Yeah, I was gonna say I
staying.
wonder how it goes, but I forgot that when we get to the ending of the episode, we'll talk about that. But
And Shaw goes into this like monologue, part
I
monologue of
probably
like,
get trailers tonight. 'Cause it's 2 weeks out. If we don't get trailers there tonight, we'll get trailers next week for certain.
they're supposed to be protecting each other, the brotherhood, but like they all talk about protecting each other and the
Yeah,
brotherhood in blue, but the brotherhood in blue speeches are written by white men.
yeah, for them. No, not for
Yeah, for them by white men. Black cops ain't anywhere in the um agenda.
I just thought about
And this
something, I'll text it to you. Hold on.
isn't the first time in the Dick Wolf universe we've had a storyline like this, because they also did it for Atwater
Yeah,
in Chicago PD,
it was a
and he was
season
basically
before.
targeted by a bunch of white cops too.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how they go with this if we continue it. Um, and then Shaw, uh, McCall has such a good line. Like
Mhm.
his voice gets low. He gets it's um in like this like deep, powerful tone. He
Mhm.
says they are trying to scare the wrong man, and he goes forward with the report. And I wrote in my little note, McCall is incredible. I love him so much.
Yeah.
Um,
Sorry, I was writing something down before I
he
forgot.
has had
Yeah.
like episodes where he gets a shine before, but this one was absolutely like a Shaw
Yeah.
centric one.
Yeah.
Um,
Which I
and
think is a really good one.
so good. Um, then we're back to the case. We find out
Okay.
that the guy Burke, um, we find out that Burke, the guy who said he was robbed by a black man, killed the doctor. Um, he claims it was self-defense because he was so scared after being robbed by a black man that he thought seeing
Mm.
another black man was gonna.
I meant to tell you that before I forgot. We'll do
Uh,
that eventually.
okay, hold on. Let me answer responding to your text before I continue.
Yeah.
Um,
Um, uh, mhm. Sometimes as we talk, we often think of things, but ooh, we need to write that. And we ain't thinking about that some more. That's what one of those moments happened at the moment. So I'm thinking of things to say to fill in the silence. Because that would be weird if it was just silence. Not too late to be editing. Okay.
all right, responded
Yeah.
to you. All right.
Yeah. We'll do that eventually soonish. There's so many like because like
Um,
this is like a random
yeah,
resistance like thing. But we like wrote it when we read the first draft of the resistance, it's very like jumpy. And we kind of just wrote
yeah.
different stories, but there's plenty that go in between that we kind
Like
of just been
entire thing with the Law and Order, Law and Order characters, because we fell in love with a group of them. And we're like, what do we do with Shaw? because we didn't know.
Yeah, we had to figure it
We
out.
just
Some people had to.
decided, like, that he was going to do this certain thing and be in this certain position in Talea. And then after this episode, I texted you and I was like, well, now we have a reason
Yeah, we'll work
um
on it
for him
eventually.
being in this position and it's like an actual like when you guys read it, I think you'll very much understand why we did it. I'm very excited to write it when we get to it eventually. Okay, back to the episode.
Mhm,
Um, so Shaw is interrogating the guy with college grub in the room. Um, and he says he was a well-regarded heart surgeon and you left him to die like an animal. It's like, ooh. Um,
mm. Yeah, I thought I remember that. It's really weird
like
at the
that
accident
my
with it. Hmm.
notifications are on my computer and I like jumped. We got less than a minute. Um, oh, I was wrong where the I wasn't about to get on my knees for anybody quote
Hmm.
was.
Hmm.
Um, because after Shaw and Cosgrove finish the interrogation, they leave the interrogation room, and there's this guy from IAB, um,
Hmm.
who calls Shaw into his office to talk to him. And it's very important to note that the IAB rep is black.
Yeah.
Um, and he's literally like he's talking to Shaw about what happened, and Shaw's like, "I wasn't about to get my on my knees for anybody. I
Hmm.
know it's protocol, but the quote." And the guy is like, don't make a big deal out of this. This is the kind of thing that makes us look bad. And Shaw says, us? And the guy replies back, the police.
Look, I don't know if you meant the police. Okay, there we go. There we go.
Sorry, I almost started talking, can't even press record. Alright.
That that would be real sad.
So we left off, the IB says, this kind of thing makes us look bad. Shaw says, us. The guy replies back, the police. And Shaw is just like,
You don't mean the police.
you and I both know us looking bad. It's not about the police. It's about the
The white
fact
man.
that
You're black.
they're both black
That's
men. Yeah.
that's what it is.
Um. Also, the fact that IAB was like, hmm,
Mm-hmm.
we'll send a black man to talk to him to see if that will help him. Um. Put the report
Just
away and
soften
pretend
the
like
blow
nothing.
a little.
And Shaw's like, no.
Mm.
Um. So then we go back to the case and we find out that Burke smashed a doctor's head with a wine bottle. What the hell?
It was a while. He was established.
And then we get the best scene in the entire episode. Um, Nolan. It's between Shaw, Nolan, and Cosgrove, and it was so good. But also, I like to give Nolan the benefit of the doubt a lot of the time. This time, I was like, stop talking and just listen.
Yeah, we're like your privilege is showing.
Yeah, I was like, dude, stop. You're not the one who should. Like, even Cosgrove wasn't talking
Yeah,
or
your
like
privilege is.
barely talking. Yeah. Eh. Oh, you might have given me an idea now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, hold on, I'm texting.
Sometimes I just be making this stuff
Uh,
and I just be. You were thinking of something.
no,
Okay. Yeah, you're right. We did think about that. That is something to definitely think about, and it'd be a big deal when
especially because he's
was it because
white.
basically yeah, sorry, we're like offhand, like very vaguely talking about the resistance, but like he's gonna have to show that he's different from the other
Another is
two. He's gonna have to show when the thing happens, he's gonna show he has to be distinctly different from the other two people doing the thing in which they're doing.
okay,
Because he has to, win. He does win, but
but he also
he
needs
has
to
to
see
be
that he
he has to be distinctly different, not just we have to write the election because I thought questions for it and their answers to them are gonna have to be like good.
I've written
Cool.
like two questions because I'm like, this is how it's gonna go. The rest of the dudes are just bad.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, we're getting distracted because I came up with an idea. Anyway, this is the best scene in the entire episode. Um, and Nolan is like, you should understand that this is a weak murder case. You're a lawyer, you know that.
Hmm.
And Shaw's like, I was a lawyer, now I'm a cop, and goes on to say, and I was once again reminded what it's like today as a black cop. Um,
Hmm.
and then like he explains like what happened, and um, there's more conversation. He's like, when you're black in this country, you're guilty in too many people's eyes.
Yep.
Unfortunately, that is true. Um, they talk about Darian, the doctor, being left for dead in the streets.
Where
Um,
the line was, we never got it. Oh well.
yeah, I forget, but um, actually, I think I like saved. Let me see. I like went to look at the scene before, and I think I stopped it right before the scene. If not, I'll look for it while we're talking. Pause.
Yeah. Yeah. We
Dang
kind of
it. I
just.
remembered it's not Friday. Dang
Yeah. I was like,
it.
no. I do
I
gotta
just
go.
got really happy.
I gotta go home in like an hour because the dinner's being delivered at 5:30. So I do. We gotta like keep going.
Um,
Otherwise, we're gonna stop mid
and they're
location
like,
or hop locations.
so they're talking about Darian being left for dead in the streets, and he said,
Mm-hmm.
and Shaw said, if that's not good enough, then I need to rethink being out on the streets with Frank and bringing you cases you water down. And I was like, ooh. And then Nolan says, if I charge manslaughter, what kind of message am I sending? You can assault and kill a black man because you're scared.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, honestly, fair, but also stop talking.
Yeah.
That's not what we're talking about right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so that was just an awesome conversation between Shaw and Nolan because we've seen them have conversation, like deep, good conversations in
Mm-hmm.
the past. And I do much believe that they respect each other, but there's like also something like missing for them to see
Yeah.
eye to eye,
Yeah.
but we don't know what that is.
I
Oh,
think it's like
I got the line. So he says,
okay.
innocent man walking down the street minding his own business. He gets bashed in the head. Um, and then Nolan says, well, Bart could have actually have a legitimate claim of self-defense. Shaw continues and says he can claim whatever he wants. He was never in any actual danger, and he left the man bleeding in the street. He had Nolan continues and said he'd recently been the victim of a violent mugging in the same neighborhood. His assailant hadn't been caught. A physically imposing man he's never seen before. A physically imposing man he's never seen before. And I'm like, dude, stop talking.
Yeah.
I love you.
It's like
Stop.
I know we're
And
like
Shaw
you're not getting it.
continues.
We're
Says
like, "You're not getting it."
no, and then
Yeah.
Shaw continues, and he's literally just like a physically
Mhm.
imposing black man,
Mhm.
right? He's like a physically imposing black man, right? And I'm watching, and here I'm gonna put up Nolan's face on the screen because you can see him like pause,
But what
taking in
is
that,
are you
and he goes to say something else,
mhm.
and he stops, and Shaw is like, "Yeah, so you get what I'm saying now, don't you?"
Mhm.
And then Nolan doesn't shut up and continues. It says that approached him for no apparent reason. Nolan, you're making it really hard.
And I'm like,
And
mhm.
he says he was in fear for his life, even though his fear turned out to be unwanted. And Cosgrove is like, doesn't that fear have to be warranted?
Mhm.
Doesn't that fear have to be reasonable for it to be warranted?
Did you find what you were looking for? Hold on. Where were we? I got to get
I
a blank. Um,
So we're almost there.
yeah. I wasn't with the episode because we're at the top part of it. Um, I have to get extra.
Okay, so the first part of the conversation, no one is like giving me Arjuna. Second half,
Mhm.
uh, it's like he's actually listening.
Mhm.
Oh, I got it. I got it. So it
Mhm.
says guilty in too many people's eyes. Burke made a false assumption based on Dr. Marshall's skin color, and worse, he acted on that assumption. And now Dr. Marshall, that black doctor, is dead. If that is not enough for a murder charge, I gotta start rethinking how I'm spending my time, risking my life in the street with Frank, just to bring you watered down cases. And just to bring you cases you watered down and seeing. And you could tell Nolan is actually thinking.
Yeah.
And then the if
Mhm.
I charge manslaughter, what kind of message am I sending? And that's him talking to Jack about it. Um, then we transition to um there's a picture of Marshall that popped up on a neighborhood security watch, and under the caption it said danger under the picture it said a caption of dangerous black man. The find out the security watch account was started by a man named Daniel DeLuca, who's
Mhm.
um you look very cozy.
I am about to get a blanket though too. I'm a little cozy.
Was started by Daniel DeLuca, who was um security watch posts had led to rumors
Mhm.
and false arrests of black men. And then they have Shaw and Cosgrove go to talk to him, and he
Yep.
says, those people coming into our neighborhood, ruining it for the rest of us. And Shaw was like, this is dangerous. Do you not understand how dangerous what you're saying is? And the guy's like, eh. But
Yep.
it's very much true. You put a picture of a black man, like a general picture of a black man, and says
People would make that
dangerous.
assumption that they're
So many people
dangerous.
are all
Yes.
gonna see just another black man in the street and be like, "Oh, he must be dangerous too," because the other one was.
Mhm.
Um, all right, I gotta stop because I am not the person who should probably be taking control
Okay.
on this
Sorry, I
episode.
was. Yeah, I'm gonna continue. Where do we leave off? So the reason why I let you keep talking because I watched it, but like I don't remember most of it. But you have to tell me phone. Where were
I
we?
know, but
Um.
I
Okay.
I
Okay.
respect you too much to be the one who talks about
Okay.
this when
Yeah.
I'm
Thanks.
never going
Okay.
to be able to fully understand it.
Um. Okay. I'm trying to remember. Where's the reason why I hadn't talked because I don't remember a lot of it. But like, okay. I watched it like the day after I came home, but that was like 2 weeks ago. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Talking about how like these false rumors about Black people being dangerous has caused this. This is like an issue that's come to light because of this case. And uh, so I don't know. What did we get? Did you run this by price? Don't remember what the
Oh,
line
so
was. Oh,
Shaw arrested him for
oh yeah, yeah,
manslaughter,
yeah.
and Cosgrove was like, "Did you run this by Price?" Shaw just ignored him and
Pretty sure
arrested
it
him
was
anyway. And Cosgrove was
it's
like,
okay.
"Okay, I guess we're doing this now."
Yeah.
And then
So
they
then they
transitioned to another scene of Price, Cosgrove, and Shaw in the diner. And Nolan is like, "What the heck? Like, you
like
didn't run
you
any
can't
of this, but
like yeah.
you can't just do this." And
Mm-hmm.
it says, if you want to join the DA's office, uh, hold on. Like, if you want to join the DA's office, like, okay. Otherwise, stay in your lane. And I was like,
Mm.
ooh.
I was like, like, whoa. Okay. Um, I mean, some
Okay,
kind of way we got to, about a lot about recklessness. Do you detect? Don't you detect it?
that was the, during the trial, I think.
Okay, because we don't really know where that came from. So it's back to the trial, correct?
Yeah, we're starting the trial.
And I
Um,
think Shaw's on the
I
stand,
think,
and that might be his.
and the attorney's like, you know a lot about recklessness, don't you, detective?
Yeah, and they bring up the investigation that happened at the beginning of the episode about Shaw.
And Shaw, for the first time,
Wondered
says
how
out
did
loud,
Yeah, I was wondering how did she know about this because it hadn't been like
yeah, it hadn't
discussed
been like,
anywhere.
um, and then Shaw,
And
for the first time out loud, says, go ahead, you can say it.
I was racially profiled, is what he says,
Yeah.
which is very
So
true of what happened. Like they can
racially
just
profiled.
assumed because he was a Black man walking down the street that he was guilty.
Yeah. And then we transitioned to the precinct again, and I
Yeah.
literally wrote Nolan strut because Sam and Nolan walk into the basically
They do
strut
this,
into the
do this
precinct,
all the time.
briefcases in their hands, right next to each other.
Always do.
It's so
They're
powerful.
always just.
And then Nolan looks right at Sean and is like, "You have an investigation against you?"
He
It's
was
like,
like, I didn't
great.
know. He did not know about
Um,
this and
you
told me.
about the investigation, I wouldn't have put you on the stand.
Yeah, he's a little upset about this, but
And like now the group is like, okay, now we need to think of a way, like,
we'll figure this out.
what isn't going to like screw everything up.
Mm-hmm.
And Violet to the rescue,
Mm-hmm.
plus a bit of Shaw, work together and find out that so DeLuca is a real estate agent, and they're looking. And Violet finds like the neighborhood that he has recently sold houses in, and a
Mm-hmm.
lot of the places where he recently sold houses in was where the crime
Yeah.
went away.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he said, so Shaw makes the point, if the crime goes away, his housing prices go back up.
Yeah. That's a
So
whole like that's
that's
a
a
whole
whole
like big thing
that's a
about
whole like big thing
housing
about how
and how discrimination against housing and how people of color when they try to sell their houses are often um sold at a lower price than white people whose houses they sell because of like discrimination and stuff. It's a whole thing you can like read about. But Yeah. So that's how they like cat. They like that was like the nail in the coffin for the guy. That they like that part. Um.
Yeah. And then so DeLuca is found guilty of manslaughter.
Yeah.
Ew. Because
Yeah.
basically, yes, Burke is the one who actually killed the guy, but Burke wouldn't have
Mhm.
went to kill the guy if DeLuca didn't put on his neighborhood watch thing the
Mhm.
picture of the doctor with the caption "dangerous man" underneath.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then
So
we
then.
transition um and I call BS.
Yeah.
I call maybe BS. It made me frustrated.
Yeah. It definitely is a
Um
real.
I mean it's definitely like a real world thing, but it made
Yeah.
me frustrated.
Mhm.
Um so Dixon goes up to Shaw and he says, um so your report against the white officers was found substantiated. So basically, nothing is going to happen with what Shaw
Yeah.
reported. But to make
Mhm.
matters worse, the complaint against Shaw stuck. And so now he's
Yeah.
being suspended for a week without pay.
Mhm.
And Shaw is just like, at this point, he's in like angry disbelief. Um, and Dixon says, even with positive change, the blue wall is still the blue wall. And I was like, ugh.
Mhm. Yeah. And so yeah.
That's why stuff still needs to change.
Yeah. It
Um,
this episode I think did the purpose it was meant to do, which is showing the discrimination in the police force and then discrimination in this case kind of all come back around together. So I feel like it achieved its mission and like reality. Unfortunately, that is the reality of the police system
and
today.
the last thing we see is Shaw gives Dixon his badge and walks away.
Hmm.
I'm like, so these white officers get to go get off scot free for stopping
Hmm.
a an innocent fellow cop.
You know,
Um, and nothing happens. Like, what if these guys try to go do it to a civilian and like
yeah,
things
that's the thing.
escalate?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. It was like
uh,
somebody else. It had been somebody who
and
wasn't a
I
cop. It was,
yeah, if somebody it wasn't a cop, like it also would be like it would be a big deal. Well, like to civilians, yes. To the cops, probably not. But
hmm
and I literally wrote, "I call BS." The fact that he didn't follow orders because he knew they had the wrong man. Um, and no one is focusing on the fact that he was profiled angers me.
Yeah, they kind of just like we
Like
can't
Shaw,
help you with that. It's just the way it is. And you're like,
unfortunately, like Shaw is not the one who should be facing consequences
hmm
and suspended with a week without pay. But
yeah,
yes, if we go back to the storyline and I'll be interested to see what happens next. I'm
yeah,
also curious what see what Shaw would do during his suspension. Like, is
yeah,
he going to like confront these guys,
yeah,
try to figure out what happened, or just move on?
yeah. Also, it's probably gonna be one of those things where they like skip a
Turn down.
period of time just because it's a period of time
It
skipped
will
in real
probably be
life.
like the week after whatever, and it's like, hey, you're back. Okay, moving on.
Yeah, probably because at least for the time the end of the episode lines up with the actual day. So unless whatever happens takes 3 weeks to happen, the ending of next week's episode will be March 23rd. I mean, the week after next, the 23rd. So who knows?
All right. What do you give this episode?
4.5. I like this one's its realistic elements. I think really made it a
Yeah,
profound story. Yeah, we
agreed.
didn't.
And McCod's act
Sorry,
is
we didn't actually like. Yeah,
the
because acting. phenomenal in this one. Mm,
Love him so much.
yeah, it was really phenomenal. We don't, unless you can find episode information, I don't think we have any currently for, for next time. I don't know. I'll have to go searching. Mm, I haven't seen anything on the internet, but really, a lot of our people are on Twitter are like SVU only. So like, we have a few that aren't, but like most of them are, so they don't really keep up with 2216. Uh,
All right.
I don't
SVU
think
time or
the episode is called. Only thing I can tell you is the episode is called Nothing.
the episode is literally called nothing.
Yeah, it's called Nothing. It's called Nothing. Literally, that's it's called Nothing. There's no actual
All
trailer
right.
for it, but it's called. I'm pretty sure this isn't. Yeah, this isn't. This is like this is the new episode's return trailer. It's not like information. I just know it's called Nothing. So I don't know what that means, but we'll find out, I guess. So SVU is 2415. King of the Moon.
I found information.
Okay, what did you find about it? Is it called Nothing for real?
No, it's called Deadline.
Okay, what was it called? Nothing then.
And,
Deadline.
it says
Okay,
when a
no,
celebrated journalist is Cosgrove and Shaw explore an unpublished report involving a prominent politician. Price and Maroon fight an uphill battle when their only credible witness is currently awaiting trial for another heinous crime.
mm,
Yeah.
well, we'll see. Guess we got a little. Maybe we'll get some Noam. Let's see if we get some Noam. That'd be good. Mm, well, you ready for King of the Moon?
Yes.
Hey, SVU.
So,
King of
this
the
is the SVU
Moon.
episode. Mariska had
At
went on
Marisha.
to interviews. It is different than any
It
other
is.
episode
It's
we've
so
done.
good though. I don't watch it again. It's been a hot minute. So I watched it again.
All like a
The
lot of
King of the
episodes
Moon.
beautiful. This episode is beautiful. It
Yeah,
was
Mariska
so
also
gorgeous.
directed this one.
And, yeah, any like I forget who tweeted it, but somebody tweeted any episodes that Mariska directed just have a special touch to it, and this one for certain
This one
did.
just
Like,
this one is so different, but it's so good. Like it'll make you cry. I mean, like there's times that if he makes you sad cry, but this is like one of the ones you're like, oh, I wasn't
a
ready.
lot.
Very emotional. It's a
All right,
different kind of emotional though. King of the Moon.
all right. So
Okay.
we start with a flashback in
Just like
1973,
it's so
and it's
different already.
kids spelling bee.
Yeah.
And they got this like boy with a stutter. His
Hmm.
name is Pence, and he's trying to get the word out. The class is laughing. Um, and then he like misses the word or something.
Hmm.
And then they go to the girl. The girl uh spells the word. Her name was Winnie. She spells it wrong, and so Pence is able to spell the word correctly
He gives her a
and get
little.
the
She gives him a little hint. And he couldn't spell the word, and then he wins the spelling bee.
And then they have like a conversation like in the hallway, and he's like, "Why did you let me win?" And she's like, "No, I didn't." And that's basically like
It's
how their
cute.
conversation starts. He knows about his like story that he wrote, which
Hmm.
is called
King of the
King of the
Moon.
Moon, and it's
Yeah.
about like this boy who like
Oh yeah. He goes to the moon. It's
he
his kind of escape place.
yeah
So
um
Mariska, I mean, not say
he
Mariska.
tra-
Olivia reads it later, but we'll talk about that. And they
then we
kind of just
transition to
it's them kind of like a little couple flashback scenes of them like moving into their house.
yeah
And they like
the
put their desks. So
house.
when they put their desks together, they have this little scene where they like put their desks together face to face in the middle of their office. It's a bunch of
And
sweet
this is when we
scenes of a sweet couple kind of things.
and I was like, I'm already emotional. So
It's
this is
so
when we
good. I watched
start
it on my iPad and like
this yeah, so this is when we start with the scenes of the two guests that we have this week. Bradley
yeah,
Whitfield, who's been on the show before, and Nancy
he's
Travis.
phenomenal, phenomenal actor though. I think he's really cool.
So sweet. And we find out that unfortunately Pence has dementia,
Yeah,
or it's like mid stages of
he's very like
dementia,
rather late into dementia. He doesn't really remember much of anything.
but he has still has moments where he's
Yeah, he has moments of clarity, but most of the time he doesn't.
ready. Um,
Yeah.
and there's one point where that she like wakes up,
Hmm.
and he like goes to his wife, and he's like he thought he heard noises. She's like, no, no,
Hmm.
no, it's okay, just go back to bed. And he's like,
Hmm.
are you cheating on me? And I was like,
Like,
well,
hold
came out of
on.
nowhere.
Mhm.
And she said, no, never. You are and always shall be my king of the moon. She like puts her hand on his cheek, and I'm
Yeah,
like,
I think I wasn't
oh
paying
my
attention. I
god.
think I didn't have connection when I saw it. I didn't like pay attention to that part, but like I'm gonna watch this one again. I liked him a lot.
I'm trying next he's dead.
Mm-hmm.
When he's
You should
dead.
say, I was like, what? I was like,
And
sad.
they're like trying to get Pence to like say what happened, and Pence
Yeah, he
is
says
just
he did it.
so heartbroken at that point. He says that he does it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, then we
Yeah.
they get the
Transition to something else.
title sequence.
Yeah, after the title sequence.
And like we're in the precinct, and Olivia play. So we have two things going on with this
Yeah, this one is
episode. So you have the
like this is like the
and then
B plot. The A plot is the main. This is like the B plot of the episode, kind of.
figuring out what the heck Velasco was doing.
Exactly. Like, what
Um,
was he doing? That's still a big deal. Like, what did you
Olivia
do?
played Velasco's recording for Finn. Finn also
Mm-hmm.
agrees that he was saying whatever he said to
Mm-hmm.
get the guy to flip. And Olivia's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, but how does he know about a double murder that is an actual case?
Mm-hmm.
And Finn is like, what? And Olivia is like, Finn, how much do we know about
So I read
Velasco?
something on the doc and I thought of an idea, but keep going.
Text it
Keep
to
going.
me.
I am.
Text it to me. Talking. Um, and Velasco, Finn is like, he grew up in Juarez and he drives a motorcycle.
That's the one that made me think
And
of
I was,
something. I didn't want to say it out loud until
we
we
all
got to it.
drive a motorcycle.
Okay, you're gonna like
But
that idea that I came up with. Sorry, I had to write down for I forgot. You're gonna like that. That'll be fun. Yeah, come on.
yes, 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 yes,
We'll do that eventually.
yes, yes,
It'll be
yes, yes.
real cute. It'll be real cute. I thought I was like, oh yeah. Okay. Okay, sorry, continue. Okay, so what are we? Okay, so they're like, okay.
Yeah, and then Olivia is
So
like,
Olivia is like,
I don't want secrets in my squad room.
yeah,
She's like, ooh, he had taken charge, but also not at Velasco's expense.
yeah. Not at the last days.
We have
Well,
grown to love Velasco a
me
lot the
too.
past few months. No, he's a good guy. It's just like,
Mm-hmm. You're so
um,
mean.
and so we transition to like Velasco's in like the precinct.
Mm.
He has no idea what's going on. Shirlish walks in, and Velasco's oh look who it is, Captain America, and I'm like, okay, great, they're already
You gotta
fighting.
go. Mm.
And then Olivia is like, all right, we're going to the interrogate Velasco, we're going to the interrogation room.
Mhm.
Or no, Finn is like, we're going to the interrogation room. And Velasco's like, who are we interrogating? And Olivia, cold, dead,
Mhm.
stares him
Mhm.
and says, you.
And I was like,
And I'm
oh,
like, my God, ma'am, you don't have to be this angry at him.
I was like,
Where did all this anger come from?
I mean, we know she's had pent up feelings about everything under the sun for like 6 months, so
Oh, but
who
also,
knows?
like just the anger that she was feeling. I'm like, that's the anger she saves for actual criminals.
And now I was like, oh, this is being real bad.
And now she's yeah, now she's showing it to one of her detectives. I'm like,
Hmm.
and you instantly see Velasco's face changed.
Yeah.
She's shocked. Like, what do you mean me?
Hmm.
Why did I do? Um
Hmm.
and so Finn and Shirlish take Velasco into the interrogation room. And Olivia goes back into like one of the interview rooms where
Hmm.
Carisi was waiting for her. And
Hmm.
Carisi's like, what is going on? And Olivia says, if I answered that honestly, you're asking.
Yeah,
And
and I
they're
was like,
like,
oh, it's not going to.
um, and she's like, okay, what did you want me to look at? Um, and so Carisi like go tells her all about Pence Humphreys, who is an esteemed psychologist and author. Carisi's talks about like some of the books that he's read, including there was one about like love or like um and everything. And he's like speaking as a hopeless romantic, and I'm like, literally the only freaking thing I could think about was him and Amanda at that moment. It's
Yeah,
like, oh, he's a hopeless romantic for his wife.
he
But also the fact that this crazy like loves this guy with like his like makes a lot of
yeah.
sense. And I love
Like,
that.
Rick a big book person.
Yeah, which I
He likes
love
books a lot
and
of things. Yeah,
I got another idea.
yeah, he's a big book person, which I love about him. Um, continuing. Uh,
Um, they watch a video that Pence did that says he raped and smothered his wife, and Carisi's like, "There's no way he could have done this. Like, they were
it doesn't make.
married for
Yeah, he 40 years. He was described it as it was a fairy tale. Like this couple had been in love a long time, so it didn't make any sense for him to just like kill her.
And then it's like, it made me think of two things. What the it made me think of maybe he was like thinking of like the relationship his parents possibly have,
Yeah.
but also the one that he hoped to have with Amanda.
Hmm. Yeah, so they're talking. He's such an
And Carice is like basically like bringing this case to Olivia.
yeah,
He's like, it said they were very they were married for 40 years. It was a fairy tale. He's like,
yeah.
is there anyone we need to take a look at this? And
Hmm.
Olivia says, you're pulling on the one good heartstring I have left. I'm
And I
like,
was like, hold on.
uh,
We were like, pause. We were like, pause.
pause. What? No,
We're like,
bestie. That means you need help.
I know. I was
We
like,
need
oh,
Barbara to come and restore
wait,
all of those
we still have
heartstrings.
time.
No.
I'm like, yeah, I'm like, listen, we still have
But
time this
also,
season.
yeah, exactly. But all and if Betty Buckley is
Mm.
coming back, so can Roll.
Yeah. They're probably
Um,
filming like 17 or 18 now.
maybe
And it's usually 22 or
like
23.
pull
In
him
time.
before May because he's got all of the
I mean, they usually
he's
are
got
done wrapping filming by April, the end of April, usually. So there's still time. There's still time. Come on.
And I
We're just
and
saying.
I'm
Okay,
I
how I predicted is if they do an off episode and then you just throw in one of the Marvel ones, it means it usually is the sign. They probably mean some depending on we'll figure it out. So we assumed last time because one day they played the People versus Richard Wheatley and we're like, this is an interesting choice. And they showed the trailer for the next one, we're like, oh, it was a signal all along. But we'll see. We'll see. Please. As long as it's done correctly, otherwise we'll fix it ourselves. Sorry, that's a tangent for another day.
do it all the time. It's tangent anymore.
We do it every day. So
Yep. Okay.
Carisi
Um.
says, like, Liv, I know you're busy, but I need another set of eyes on this. You have less than a minute, so
Also, the fact that Khaleesi trusts Olivia so much that she's
yeah.
bringing this case to her, and the fact that Olivia, um, does not put her out to guys often, but
Yeah.
she does with Finn, and I feel like all the past few weeks she's had multiple heart-to-heart conversations with Khaleesi.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's because partly that Barba isn't there anymore. She's
Mm-hmm.
going to Carisi because she truly cares about him.
Mm-hmm.
Not just as, captain, counselor kind of conversations, but also you're one of the closest friends I have conversations. And I
Mm-hmm.
love it so much. Um, and Olivia's like, okay.
Okay. Continuing where you left off at. What were you
There we go.
saying?
Oh yeah. So then we transition next to Sterlish and Finn. Um,
Mm-hmm.
interrogating
Yeah.
uh
Mm.
Velasco.
Yeah.
And they're
Some
basically
more.
like bringing right at the point of like the drug bag he gave the guy.
Mm-hmm.
And Velasco's like, I didn't give the guy drugs. It was powdered sugar. And then yeah, and Finn is like, yeah, in a heroin laced bag. And I'm like, I forget who said it. I think you might have that
Mm-hmm.
like you predicted it was just powdered sugar.
Yeah, but I don't think he actually.
Um
I
so at
was like,
least
where would he have gotten it from? That'd been crazy.
but because of that, and like the fact that he got like a bag laced with heroin, he needs to take a drug test.
Yeah.
And he's basically like looking at Shirley, like you're enjoying this, aren't you?
Yeah,
And
you
she's like,
turned me in.
I'm like I lock up criminals. It's what I do, and I'm like,
He's not a
I liked
criminal.
you, I liked you, and then you started going after my our Velasco, and I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Okay. Then we transition to Carisi and Olivia talking to Pence and
Mm-hmm.
like his attorney. And like he's like, yeah, I explain like how he did this.
Mm-hmm.
But then he turns and he sees Amanda's chipmunk on the table,
Mm-hmm.
and he's
Yeah, because
like,
they put it in the break room because they didn't want
yeah,
them to be looking at it.
and he was like, what's
Mm.
with the chipmunk? And Amanda's like, that belonged to a friend, but she
Yeah,
said with like a
early.
soft smile.
Yeah.
Mm.
I was like, at
Um,
least she's not forgotten like some
and then
people
it
are.
took me a second, and I was like, Amanda would be perfect for this case.
She would have been,
Like,
but you know.
if she's like a forensic psychologist now and doing all this psychology stuff, and she was
Would have
doing all
been
this
more because
psychology stuff still at SVU, this would have been the perfect opportunity to bring Kelly back for a guest star role to have her
mm,
be as a consultant on this case.
literally could have been, but whatever.
Also, we could have got releasey parallels with the couple. So,
Yeah.
um,
Mm,
we then get back. They talk to him. We get back to Velasco, Finn, and Shirless. Um,
mm,
they're grilling him hard. And Velasco's like, I didn't do any of the stuff that you're saying. And Finn is like, Okay, then why were you at this double murder in Fort Worth, Texas? Then why do you know about this double murder in Fort Worth, Texas? And Velasquez's like, I was there. And we're like, oh,
He's like, "What do you mean you were there?" It's a very
yeah.
wild time, and he's like,
And
"I
then
was there." Trying
we transitioned to Carisi and Olivia investigating Pence's apartment, and like Carisi
to,
like has not been on the field in like forever.
yeah.
Um,
This was a fun,
and we're like,
interesting scene. I kind of liked
it
him
was
watching this too.
interesting. I'm like,
It was like,
how did
huh?
you get clearance to be here?
Like, so Reese's been out in the field like
But
twice. He was
also,
out last time,
like,
and he was out in what was the episode? Last week's episode, the episode before this one. What was it called?
Dutch
Dutch
years.
Tears. He was in Dutch Tears. He
Yeah,
was
but
out in
this
the field again,
like a more like casual thing.
and I'm like, "What are you doing?"
He's
But
in
okay,
like a three-quarter sleeve
yeah. Like, bro, you're not.
shirt.
You're not. Why are you investigating? What are you doing?
Well,
Not, we
yeah,
don't
it's like in a
mind, but
three-quarter
what are you
sleeve
doing?
shirt, using his elbow to pop open a
Like,
drawer. I'm like,
they're
okay, I guess
like,
that's what we're doing. Um, that's when they find the copy of his King of the Moon book. They look
mm-hmm,
at that and they talk about their relationship and how
mm-hmm.
it's sweet and everything. And Olivia is like, I can barely find someone who's emotionally available. To which I
Like, girl,
immediately went, Barbara,
yeah, we're like, he's right
Barbara,
there.
he's
He's
right
right.
there. Call him. Go.
You know,
Call
I
him.
wrote a fic where she did,
And
and people
that,
love that fic.
but also the fact that she said this to Carisi.
Greece would be like, he probably was like, hmm,
Yeah, I literally think his face was
hello,
like
what do you mean?
um
Carisi and Rollins are both Barson, just saying.
yep. Yes, we understand the thing about with Amanda saying they should get a hotel room, yada yada yada, but
Yeah,
there's more points leading toward Barson than
yeah, yeah.
the other one.
Barson kind of just sits up here, outside of the
Barson
frame
is
box here.
here. The other one is
Not in the frame box, down there. Get that out here.
uh go.
Get
Um
that out. Throw it in the trash.
we go back to the they see some security footage and it shows
Mm-hmm.
like they got delivery
Mm-hmm.
and the Olivia is like, does it take 30 minutes to deliver delivery? So they have to go back to Pence
Mm-hmm.
and tell him you you didn't do this.
Yeah, you do not
But
do it.
unfortunately, that sets him off.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just like, this is the first time I started crying.
Yeah, I was like, oh,
Um, and he's like, no, 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 we had a pact that we would basically the pact
they
they
would
had
die.
was to die together because they love each other that much
Yeah,
that they couldn't live without each other.
yeah, and that's like scientifically proven. People have been like to couples have been together like a long time, like long time. They if one dies, the other one dies usually shortly after, just because like
There are
broken heart.
so many fics of that with Barson that makes me cry.
Mm-hmm.
But
There's
it's
no
so
certain things of Boston I don't let myself read, and those are one of them because I get teary.
because that 100% would be the case
It's
for them.
them. It's like 85, about 85. I mean, 85
Okay.
years old.
Um
Sorry, that
um
makes us me a little
and
emotional.
this is the line that he said when I started crying because unfortunately the rape wasn't made up.
Yeah, it
She
did
was
happen.
raped. And he said, "No, she he literally says she did not see my face." And he
Mm-hmm.
says this in like his voice cracked. He got tears in his eyes. Basically, his point he's made is I wasn't the last thing that she saw before she was before she died. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, my
Okay.
God. And then
That's a love
he
scene.
continues And he says, she must have been terrified.
Oh my bro.
And I'm like, oh my god. Oh, that hurts. And
That's
then
right.
Olivia and Sunny leave the room, and Sunny is like, what's going on? And Olivia's like, we just took his only comfort away.
Yeah.
He would have rather lived with the
I mean,
fact that he
my feed
confessed
did kill them.
to raping and smothering his wife than having to live with the fact knowing he was going to have to live with the rest of his life without the
Without.
love of his life, who
And
didn't
that someone else had done this horrible
him
crime to her.
before she died, at what had the most horrendous thing happen to her before she died by the hands of somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
And that just breaks my heart. Um, I forgot to mention that the guy mentioned the chipmunk twice.
The
And
chipmunk
then
keeps me.
we transition to like they see, but they hear glass shatter. So
Yeah.
what?
They
Like
both
so,
turn
Penn
all
said,
turn back.
in glass case from the chipmunk and smashed it on the ground. And took a piece of the glass and cut the wrist with it, his wrist with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I literally was like, "Oh my god, not the chipmunk! No,
I was like, no, it's just the glass. It's just the glass on the top. Chipmunk.
good." And then Olivia and Sunny rush into the room, and like Olivia's like trying to hold his wrist, and
Yeah.
he's just like, "I don't want to live without her." And Olivia's like,
I know. I
I
was like,
know."
oh, this whole episode just makes you real scary. But like, some of these scenes are just
And
like,
then Book Entertainment put a gif of him breaking the glass.
yeah,
Um, and they wrote, "Poor Rollins Chipmunk. Don't worry, our squirrel friend won't be leaving the show so soon."
no,
And I was just like,
a little shady. I would rather
I
shade
mean,
back then.
great.
Good, but
I'm glad. But also, Kelly is the one who gave you guys the squirrel. Like, did you get her permission? Not the squirrel, the chipmunk.
yeah, the
Did
chipmunk.
you get her permission before you broke the case around it, or what?
Yeah, they probably had a
Like,
different case. I probably
I
had
hope
a different. They probably did have
like,
like a
can
different
you
one they put on
imagine?
for the scene.
Like, can you imagine, like, if Kelly's just watching the episode randomly and she watches it and is like, "Hey, my case!"
And then
Like,
they probably put on a different case that wasn't like the actual one.
so
You can
then we
only hope it
transition.
was.
Um, the hospital, and the caretaker is there, and she's
Mm-hmm.
like, "He's fine, but I'm gonna leave now." And Olivia and Sonny are like, "What?" And she's like, "I know it seems cruel now, but in 5 minutes he won't even remember I was here." I was like,
Well,
ouch. But that's the
that's the
impact
reality of
of that
dementia.
dementia, yeah. Then we get some funny lines,
Mm-hmm.
but also really, like, Olivia and Sunny are so sweet. They like basically like reintroduce themselves to Pence,
Mm-hmm.
and Carissa's like, "I'm a lawyer," and the guy like makes a funny line about like,
Mm-hmm.
why they invented like toilet blenders or something. Carissa's like, "No, why?" He's like, "So lawyers have something to look up to." And the guy is like, Chris is like, "Oh, I've never heard that one before," and he like actually like sincere laugh. Um, and he's really nice to Olivia, and then uh, he like mentions like her like she's got like a really nice like figure or something, and she's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, he's like, she has an hourglass figure, and she's like, "I just had some food at the cafeteria, so I think a few minutes have just been added on." I'm gonna pause, and the fact that both Mariska and Mariska as Olivia are comfortable saying lines like that,
Yeah.
I love it, because Mariska's gorgeous.
She is.
and the fact that a woman on our primetime television isn't like a stick straight woman,
Yeah.
but Mariska with, for lack of a better term, hourglass figure
She's very pretty.
is
And she's
so good.
yeah, and that she's like,
It's an
and I think like a good thing. I feel like they did this. It was kind of thing where like SVU could have always at some point been like she's too old, but they never did that. You know.
no.
So,
And then as they're leaving, this line, I don't know. I need to know if this like
who wrote this?
improvised, if Mariska knew this was getting in there, what? Um, the guy like says as they're leaving, and he looks at Olivia, and she's like, "You got an ass like the devil and a face like Jane Mansfield. You're a lucky son of a bitch."
And
And
I was like,
Olivia
oh,
is
oh,
like, "Okay." Um, for those of you who don't know, Jane Mansfield was Mariska's mom. Well, is
yeah.
Mariska's mom. Fortunately, she's no longer here, but Jane Mansfield is Mariska's mom. So Mariska does actually have a face like Jane
Mhm.
Mansfield.
Yeah, I was like, this is actually if
And
you
Jane
didn't know,
Mansfield is like
it's a
on a
she's
similar level to Marilyn Monroe. Very
yeah,
much
she's very
holiday, not holiday, Hollywood bombshell type look, which is
hmm
why Mariska is so gorgeous. Um, but I just love that was such a funny reference. I was
yeah, I
like,
was like, that's
all
very
right
very
then.
clever.
Yeah. Um,
hmm
then we transition back to the interrogation and we get this literally a scene of like Shirlish and Velasco fighting. And like
Again,
Shirlish
for like the 18th.
like railing into him and Velasco like saying things about like, oh, I'm sorry, like my parents weren't like emotionally available. So once again, as somebody else in the SVU universe has crappy parents, because apparently
Literally,
nobody in this universe can have good parents,
except like
except maybe
Carisi.
Khaleesi. But even then, I think he said something about his dad in an episode, so we're still not perfect. But the closest person who has good parents, besides Noah with Olivia, is crazy.
Mhm.
Um, and Finn was like, basically, both of you stop.
Yeah,
And
because
he
they were really
looks,
yelling.
yeah, it was like it was the first time I ever heard Finn yell in a while, and he's like, both of you stop. That's enough. And he's like, Velasco, we just want to know the truth. That's it. We want to know why you were at this murder scene.
hmm
Um, and Velasco, we get this really key piece
hmm
of information about Velasco, and it's pretty shocking.
hmm
Basically, his parents like said they were sending him to camp. Well,
hmm
the camp that they sent him to was a camp for him to be trained as a hitman.
Yeah, and he's a kid.
They don't
He's
really,
like
yeah, he
12.
was
He's young.
a young kid because we knew he had like gang
Yeah,
affiliation
gang ties, but he
in,
never said to
but that's basically like this started it all. It was like
me.
around the same time as this. Um, and he had a hit, so like he got trained to use a gun and all that.
hmm
Um, which makes me wonder why he became a cop. Like,
Yeah, they didn't
if
have
you
it
have
that
all this
quick.
trauma from being forced to become a hitman, how is how do you get on the path to become a cop? Um, I mean, I know it's two separate things, but it just seems like an
Everyone that maybe don't tell us because episode next does have to do with Velasco still. Next video,
yeah,
whenever
Velasco
this is,
absence, basically.
the presence of
Um,
absence.
And Velasco had this like big hit. He and his friend Chili had this big hit.
Mhm.
Um, and he was the I think the most shocking thing to me was the fact that they said that he was going to do it.
Yeah, he's good too.
I was like, what?
It was like, oh,
But then we find out he still has a heart because he said he was going to do it. And then the man who they were supposed to kill, his son came out of the room, of like a room or whatever, and he's like, after that, he couldn't do it. But his friend did.
mhm.
And then he ran to New York City.
Yep.
Um, we also need to keep in mind that none of this happened in America. At least I don't believe it
Yeah,
did.
I don't think so.
Velasco grew up in Juarez, Mexico.
Yeah, he said he did. Mhm.
Um, and it's just interesting to me because we see aspects of him that are very proud of his culture, where he's from,
Mhm.
especially with the episode with like the missing girls from his village.
Yeah.
But then we also
Mhm.
see aspects of him like with the trauma that comes from where he's from.
Yeah.
So basically after the hit he ran to New York City and became a cop. Um and he said this is the first time I ever told this story. So he's been holding it in for God knows how many years.
Mhm. Uh,
Um
yeah, and it's the first time
I
he's ever
messed up
told
the
anybody.
timeline again because apparently
Yeah,
this is when the DoorDash was.
the DoorJet, not DoorDash. I was like,
DoorDash.
whoever
Because we
has to
can't
name these
prosecute
things,
DoorDash because of copyright.
copyright claim. I said, bro, y'all gotta get more creative. Okay, so yeah, we told the story. Then they're looking at the security cameras. I think they're talking to the security cameras, and they're like, it might have been Olivia, it might have been someone who said 30 minutes to get delivery food. They watched the guy like go in and deliver the food, but did not come out for like 30 minutes. They're like, it doesn't make
Yeah,
sense.
and then Olivia is like, that's when Olivia says, um, 30 minutes to deliver takeout. And then her and, and Sunny like look at each other and like, oh. Well, they find out that the person who's doing the
Doing the delivery is
sorry, I'm like getting so
uh
many texts.
that was me. That
Um,
one was me. Yeah.
I know my um no, my parents were texting me too, so I'm like getting all these dings and I'm like, stop it.
Yeah, so Door it turns out that the DoorDash I say DoorDash, it's not DoorDash, it's DoorJet. The DoorJet deliverer is Virginia, who's the caretaker. Her name's Virginia, and her nephew is Kevin.
Yeah,
And
Kevin.
then yeah,
Um,
Kevin. And
and at one
so
point,
they're talking to Penn still. I think he's the one who says you have warm eyes, and he's like, oh,
yeah, I think he said that to Olivia. Yeah, you have
yeah.
warm
So
eyes, Mr. Cole.
I think he's as a kid showing him the
Um,
pictures and being like, do you know this person? And he was able to be like, oh,
yeah.
yeah, I know who that is.
Then we get Finn and Velasco talking. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then he says, even in the NYPD, there's room for redemption. And he's like, like Velasco is like his biggest concern right now is the fact that he might have just screwed everything up with Olivia,
Yeah,
which I absolutely love that that's what they're touching on.
yeah,
Because when Velasco first started, like he was basically brought in by McGrath. Like
yeah. They think he's gonna be so.
nobody thought
Nobody liked him.
it was,
They think he's a piece of
nobody thought
that
um his
he would have grown into this person he is now.
grow. But we've seen Olivia like support him fully,
Mm-hmm.
and we've seen Velasco support in her grow, in her grow. now that this is happening, everything from beforehand is like almost forgotten, and Olivia's like,
Yeah.
what the heck? So
Hmm.
Finn is like, you need to show your loyalty to her.
Yeah.
Then we transition to the nephew is in a lineup. Pence
Yeah.
is IDing her, and he picks the wrong person.
Hmm.
And then you see Olivia look at him, and I'm like,
She's confused, being
I
like, he
think
really
he
talking
picked
about
the
before.
wrong purpose. Um, and Olivia like talks to him in like their another like side room, and the
Mhm.
first thing she said is, "Why would you lie?" And I'm like, "Man, you're good."
Yeah. That's it.
And it's he still doesn't want to live with the fact knowing that somebody else
I
did this
mean,
to his
his,
wife,
his wife is
especially because the kid is like
young. He's
our
young.
age.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
He's paying for stuff.
and
Sorry.
then
Never mind. That's cool.
he says this disease is like the teeth of God sucking the cherry flavor out of the chocolate of memory, or
Something like that. It was longer than that.
something.
It was longer than that, but I was like, I couldn't remember anything about the shit, but something like that.
It's like whoa.
That was a little profound.
But honestly, yeah.
Yeah,
He said
because
I would rather go down in prison.
I think for him, like prison, for one, if if you come up to the manslaughter, he would be executed. So knew he would die at a certain.
Yeah.
But with like
And he said
dementia,
this,
it could be
yeah.
at any time.
He continues and he says that stupid kid will remember everything. Some memories are worse than prison.
Yeah,
Like he would rather go to prison and suffer. This kid
yeah.
who he absolutely knows did do this to his wife.
Hmm.
He
Hmm.
would rather the kid suffer internally at this point because yeah, you did this to my wife. And he talks about his book, and he says something about a sliver of the moon, and I full on started crying again, and then I'm like, God, Bradley. I literally am pretty sure this is when I out loud said Bradley Whitford is amazing.
He is. The most
Like,
I
if
knew from
you
watching The Handmaid's Tale.
have not watched
He
this
was
episode, go watch it
Go
for
watch
his
this
performance.
episode. So good. In The Handmaid's Tale, he is Commander Lawrence, who now
Which
has
is
a
why I
bigger.
cannot figure out like why do I know who this is? That's why.
Yeah, but now
Well,
in the
we
in
find
the
out
fifth season, he's a higher authority in the fifth season, so he has a bit more power. He's kind of like figuring out what the heck he's trying to do because Gilead is not playing these days. Sorry, that was off topic. I was talking Handmaid's Tale all the time.
so
Okay,
then Olivia and
we'll finish
Sunny
SVU and then we'll come back to organized crime later.
um interrogate Kevin. And we find out
Yeah.
that Kevin also robbed Winnie because he needed money.
And it was like, bro, there's plenty of other ways you could find money. It's like Robin. He knew they were rich.
And
But continue.
he pushed her down on and put a pillow over her face to be quiet because she was screaming. She just died.
She was
Oh, I totally forgot to mention this earlier. The reason why they knew that Pence didn't do it is he has like the CPAP machine for sleeping,
yeah.
and they
They
checked the
found it
monitor.
earlier.
He was asleep when the
The murder happened.
rape and murder occurred, which
Yeah, so
unfortunately made it even worse because it's basically like he was asleep while this was happening to his wife.
yeah.
Um, and you said you were gonna get a quote about Olivia
I forgot
about
what I
like
didn't.
the guys like building like you're
Yeah,
building up walls. So like what you
yeah.
said
If,
basically like what you did seemed so bad. I think
yeah. It's something about that.
was around
Maybe
it.
something like that. And yeah.
Um,
Olivia says a
and
lot of
like
like
trying
offhand
to
comments
like
that are like make me think of like she preaches to herself sometimes. I'd be like, girl, take her own advice. But anyway,
yeah, exactly. And then she's like trying to see like the kid
mm,
to get the kid to confess. And the kid is like in tears at this point, and he's like, I lifted it up like at first he's like, I lifted up her nightgown and that was it. Well, Olivia presses some more, and
hmm
he literally like I'm quoting him when I
yeah,
say
this is
that
what he said.
he did it with her um before she was dead, and he used a
Yeah,
condom.
yeah. It was like, hold on,
I just
why
want
did
to know
you do
what the
it?
hell is
Why
going
were
on in
you
this kid's
doing it?
head
Why did you
that
do
you
that?
would do this to the what? So A, she's
Like,
married.
yeah,
B, she's probably old enough to be your
be your mom.
grandmother.
Yeah,
C, why did we go to rape?
I mean, you robbed her. It could have been done, but no.
Yeah, but like
Like,
why? Like what
why did you
made
do
you think, oh, I want to go have sex with this woman and rape her?
that? Yeah, that was wild.
Like
I was like, hold on, pause.
you like I literally was not like expecting the criminal to be like a 20 something year old kid.
Yeah, it was. Um,
It's
yeah,
weird.
yeah. So they
I
kind of
literally
close the
wrote,
book
my
on that.
question is why?
I love what's going on.
Why? And the kid is like crying at this point, and I'm like,
Well, unfortunately, you have to go to jail for that. Oh man,
bye, bye,
that's
whatever your heck is going on in your head, kid. Um, well, and then we transition to Olivia, and oh,
the last
I forgot.
two-ish
There was
scenes.
another point in the episode where Velasco and Shirley are, I mean, Finn and Shirley are talking to Velasco, and Carisi sees the interrogation, and he's looking at them in the interrogation room, and he's looking at Olivia, and he's like, "What is going on?" So he has an idea something is going on, but Olivia is not telling him.
Yeah, so
Um, okay. Anyway, Finn and Olivia conversation. Finn says, I was impressed with Shirtless. And Olivia says, really,
mhm.
Finn? Another stray?
And like, once
And
it
then
was the
that's the end of the
first story.
conversation. I'm like,
Once it was the
okay,
first story.
great.
And we got
So here we go.
churlish.
Let's
Well,
see
we
the
well from
first
what from
stray.
set from
Finn
okay
and
from like
Bruno.
from behind the scenes pics, Churlish is around still. So like Churlish is gonna be here a while.
Yeah, because Molly is like sending, like putting up tweets of her with her.
Yeah.
It just
So
makes
I'm
me
like, yeah,
wonder,
close. Yeah. But they're gonna put them on full time, the three of them.
like, are we just getting all like are we just getting all the Bronx people? Like, is Bronx SVU
Yeah.
not a thing?
I
We're
mean
just
they
taking
feel
everybody?
well they like hard reset the Bronx one. They just put all new people in.
Yeah,
So they're
hard
fine, I
reset the
guess.
Bronx, and they're like, okay, we're just gonna take
I don't take those
this
people back
us.
from
Fuck you.
so we'll see. Maybe
But
they'll
it also
be
it's like
nice.
it took 23 years, 23 seasons, like
Yeah.
for
Have a
I don't know, like 5 seasons for Olivia to finally have like a squad
yeah, it's been a
now.
minute since there's been a full squad.
Um, but it's
Uh,
literally Olivia and Finn and a bunch of Yunnins.
yeah, I mean, I jokingly call them the aliens, but yeah, seriously, it is.
Well, I mean that's what, but I mean, like obviously the actual Yunnins are the organized crime
Yeah,
trio because they're in like their 20s and
yeah,
30s.
yeah,
The SVU crew is in their 30s and 40s.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Again, so we got like
minus
6 minutes
Finn.
on Zoom, so we're gonna finish.
Yeah.
Get off hand and finish the
Um,
last scene,
and it's just okay. Like if we
last two
get
scenes.
Shirley, what does that mean for Velasco?
Yeah, because they kind of hate each
Um,
other.
they
They're
hate
not
yeah,
be,
exactly. Hate each other. We're getting like I don't know how Olivia thinks this is gonna go if she got two of her detectives fighting.
yeah, we'll figure it out again. We'll see.
Um, and then we get the Olivia and Velasco scene,
Yeah, we
and
saw pictures of
it's
this.
so good
Yeah,
because we
I'm
saw a
excited for
promo
set
piece
this
of
too.
this, and I'm like, my God, why
Listen,
does Velasco look so sad? Now I
she
know.
just reeled in.
Well, she literally walks up to him, and they're, like, sitting on, like, a bench, and she's, like,
They're at, like, the
uh,
pier, sort of.
telling him about his drug test results,
Mhm.
and the first thing she says is, "You tested positive," and my heart dropped. It's like, "No, he didn't." Well, he didn't, not 'cause she's like, "You tested positive." And first Velasco was like, "What?" And she said, "For powdered sugar."
And also
So,
the powdered sugar.
because he's like, he did it as like a placebo. Basically, the guy is so
Yeah,
high, he wasn't gonna know the difference.
yeah, your brain
Um,
eventually is like, "This seems it gives me the same idea,
yeah,
so
so
let's do this."
he pretended to he snorted powdered sugar.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah, no new pictures yet.
and she
Wish
goes
I was
on
upset.
to and then saying, "I feel bad for you, Velasco." Velasco's like, "Bad?" And she says, "You are 180 pounds of water in the shape of a man. You shape into whatever necessary. You've been living a performance, not a life." I was like,
Oh,
whoa.
okay.
I know what they should do
What?
to give Velasco a life.
So we know I know the answer to this.
Are you
Because I
picking up
remember
what I'm putting down,
yes,
bestie?
I'm
You
picking up what
should.
you're putting down. We talked about this. Just
Give him fine, you want
I
an
know what you were
envelope. Give him a significant other. And we know who.
yeah, we've already talked about this. Like, come on, read our stories. Like, we do this all the time.
If you
Okay,
want more if
can
you do this, you'll have a legitimate reason to do a crossover every now and then. Just saying.
yeah, just look at them. Okay, we got like 4 minutes, so we gotta like keep going.
Okay.
Uh,
He's been living in a performance, not a life, and it's basically true. Like he basically ran to New York and pretended everything was okay and became a
but
cop.
it
Just
wasn't.
it's not nothing. No, he's not like it's you want 180 pounds of water in the shape of a man. I was like, wow.
Mhm,
Um, and Velasco is basically like, what can I do so
mhm,
we're okay again? And Olivia is like, in order for things to be okay again, you need to turn in your friend.
mhm,
And Velasco's
yeah,
like, no, I can't. And Olivia is like, yes, you can, because she's like angry at this point. She's like, yes, you can.
yeah,
In order for things to be okay again, you are going to turn your friend in.
mhm,
And then she walks, and that's it.
yep.
And I'm like,
And then it's the last
what?
scene of the
Oh
episode. It's like,
god.
yep.
And then I was like, I
The
did not
final
like.
scene.
And then
Yeah,
the
then the
final
final
scene,
scene.
we get Olivia reading King of the Moon. And at first, I thought she was reading it to Noah.
I thought actually I thought something different would happen at the end, but I'll say it after we yeah, Olivia reads him King of the Moon, and that's like the end of the
She
episode.
reads it to Pence, and we get this beautiful narration by Marisha
Cinematographed, yeah, and the way
with
they did it is so
like
beautiful.
Bradley Whitford like playing out the story
This
of the
scene,
King of the
yeah,
Moon.
like I know they
I
like goofed off with the
cried.
green screen before, so we didn't know what they were
Yeah.
using a green screen for. It's actually very, and we were like, oh, it all makes
I
sense, and it's so beautiful.
so it was so beautiful. They had like music behind it and everything, and just Marisha's voice
Yeah,
in of
she's a
itself is
beautiful
beautiful.
woman.
I cried.
It's
I'm
very
like the
beautiful. King of
I
the Moon is
cried
one of the most
because
beautiful
then they
endings.
pulled it in to like flashbacks of like the scene of like Pence and Winnie from the spelling bee, but like the
Yeah,
adult versions
yeah,
of
they
them.
did. They did such
And
a
I was just
beautiful
like,
job on this scene. Like,
it was so beautiful. I cried. I
I'm gonna watch it
cried.
again later.
Um,
But I need to go.
and then
Uh,
after that, they transitioned to a title card that said "In Memory of Richard Belzer," and I continued to cry.
cried, sobbed.
I honestly give this episode 5 stars.
Yeah, this is
It
a
was
five.
that
This
good.
is the best of the season. Might have been best of the season. Can't think of anyone better
Um,
in the season anyway.
um, okay. Well, how did you think they were gonna end the episode?
I thought he was gonna be dead. By
Oh
the
yeah,
time
me
she
too.
finished
I thought
reading,
he
he was
was
gonna be
gonna.
dead. By
I
the time
thought
she was
when she was
finished,
reading.
I thought he was gonna die.
Yeah, me too. But you could just see him like relaxing there
He's happy.
peacefully.
Man,
He's
he's
happy.
mhm.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna die too. Um,
That's what I thought
there
when I
was a
was
behind the
reading
scenes
those.
video that
Yeah,
Bradley
there's a
Whitford and
picture.
did, and it was so funny. Somebody asked them, "What's the favorite part of Mariska directing?" And Bradley said, "When she stops talking." And Curry and Peter's just standing there like he
Mhm.
has to laugh it off because he's like, "Oh my god, he did not just say that," which is funny. But yes, so Mariska, anything Mariska directs is
So good.
gorgeous.
This one
Is
was just
gorgeous. This episode
good
is
and different.
so beautiful.
Yeah, the Zoom is
Um,
about to explode, and then we're
and
gonna
next week,
go do stuff. Not
deal
next week.
with the
And and magically we're back the next day because we didn't have time yesterday. But we are back.
do,
We are back the next day. So
and we're both in like totally different spots. Well, like I'm
yeah,
still in my room. You
you're at a different.
different.
I'm at my house. I was not at my house yesterday when we recorded. So magically, okay. So we have to talk about uh
Well,
um
we have news like because
we do.
things literally happened in a day. Um,
Hmm.
shoot, what is the guy's name?
Oh, Sean Jablowski about this about becoming another showrunner. That is that what we were going to
Yeah,
talk
I
about?
thought that was what the news was. What other news did we have?
Oh, honestly, I forgot. I didn't think that was the news we were going to talk about, but we are now. Organized
I
crime.
mean, we're
Who's
about to
lost it?
start talking about organized crime. We should probably bring it up.
Yeah, literally, this is their.
So yeah,
They just lost their
fourth. This
fifth.
is the fourth
Their,
one that
no, this is
is
their
left.
fifth. It's their fifth, actually. It's their fifth
Oh god.
because we were talking randomly.
Yeah.
So
So
this is their
Sean
fifth showrunner.
Javonsky is leaving. It says it's creative differences, which I don't believe for a second. Um,
Something feels a little off about creative differences.
yeah. And then so David Grazino, the showrunner for SVU, is going to be overseeing both shows for the rest of the seasons.
The last of the season. There's some things about that is also wrong, but you can look it up for yourself. If you want to know, go look it up for yourself. But
But the reason why I'm frustrated mainly is this is the showrunner that finally gave us an arc that was focused on Jet and Ayana, who have been
yes,
there for the longest besides Elliot.
yeah,
And it took the show 3 seasons to give them an
exactly.
arc
To give them an arc that they
they
deserve,
deserved.
and it was
And
so
now
good.
that he's leaving.
Yeah, and that arc was so good. And, like those are like the best episodes in the season,
Um
or like the
and
series
even
in general.
like Ainsley did a whole bunch of interviews where she was talking about Sean and how great he was and how grateful she was that
Hmm.
he gave them this amazing arc and
Hmm.
how they hoped that the storyline would continue and they wouldn't drop
Yeah.
it.
Hmm.
And now he's gone.
Yeah. And it's wild. Or like creative differences. I think that is a lie, but
I call BS
mhm.
now, especially because it's literally like in the middle. Like literally, it said they have like 3 episodes left, and it's
I think
like
they're filming
by
three left. There's maybe if they go up to 22
what the
episodes,
heck?
there's like usually there's 22 or 23 episodes a season. So they've filmed up until the last three currently, I guess.
It's just
Because
what it's like makes me wonder what is going on there. The fact that we're on what fifth or sixth
David makes six.
showrunner, and the show has only been on for 3 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Like they can't even keep a showrunner for an entire season.
Mm-hmm. It's
And like
or
we
like
finally get one. Like I haven't seen anybody say a single bad thing about this current showrunner,
yeah.
and now he's gone. So
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I don't know.
So it's kind of
Um,
just like, it's just
yeah.
very strange.
Anyway,
Sorry, I clicked the wrong button. It's very
yeah. Anyway, this is
strange.
the not SVU, organized crime portion of the
The part that we
podcast.
did yesterday. I'm gonna do it right now. So the episode is called "The Wild and the." Well, not the Wild. It's I think maybe it's "The Wild and the
Wild
Innocent."
and innocent.
Wild and Innocent.
And they said the show said you get 2 weeks of not Elliot, now we're back to him.
Yeah, they're like,
I'll
yeah,
fully take those 2 weeks, but also it's like,
literally.
really? We're already back to this?
Yep, it literally was like, oh, great.
And we say it time and time again that
Yeah, no, we're adjusting for a low light. Don't
we
worry,
watch
it's
for
another.
Ayana and Jet. Like,
Mm,
I don't
yeah.
like fully
Uh-huh.
hate Elliot because there are things that the show and organized crime show that he is a good guy.
Yeah, and we've been
There's
working on
also a
writing that.
lot of things that they show that he's not. So
Yeah, we've been working on writing that. And we were like, oh, did we just do something good?
did we do that? Were we nice?
I was going outside. Yeah, were we nice? Yeah, we
Um
were. You won't read that for a long time.
yeah.
It'll be a long time
We
for you to
write
read that.
things so much in advance because once we get an idea, we're like, we need to go
Let's
do that.
go.
Um, we did start chapter 8, so
Mm-hmm.
that will be
The
here
resistance.
eventually.
Eventually, probably next weekend when we're not
Cross your
busy.
cross our fingers, hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
Um, okay. So the episode starts with this with like their cold open. So this
Mm-hmm.
engaged couple is walking down the street.
Mm-hmm.
The guy's named Calvin and the girl's named Janelle. And then out of nowhere, um, like this guys on like motorcycles zoom by
Mm-hmm.
and just shoot Calvin. Um,
Yep.
Janelle is freaking out. She she loves this guy, so she's like
Mm-hmm.
devastated right now. And then they kidnap Janelle. So,
Mm-hmm. That's how it started. Yep.
and then we transition to like the next morning, and then Ayana, Reyes, and Elliot are all at the crime scene.
Mm-hmm.
Um, felt weird to like see them in a crime scene because we usually just see
They
them
don't usually.
investigating or
Yeah,
in the
they're not
bureau.
crime scene solver people usually.
SVU is more of the crime
They go
scene
so.
stuff
Yeah.
and the mothership. So this is like one of the first times we've seen them at an actual crime scene.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I found out that it was connected to a motorcycle club. Um, and that Elliot knows the family. Elliot knows
Mm-hmm.
Janelle.
Mm-hmm. Their dad.
And he doesn't tell them right away. He's like, he sees the card and he's like, I gotta go check on something.
Yeah, very, very. It's a very Elliot thing to do, but one of the things his quirks that are very wrong to do because when
He's
you have
like,
a team of
I'm
people,
gonna go figure this out by myself. And then
yeah,
Yana's just
yeah.
like,
When you have a team, you
what
can't
are
just
you
be
doing?
going off and doing your own thing. It's
Yeah.
what a team is for.
Especially when you're
Yeah,
not in charge. Like, I get it, the person in charge who has to go do it, but you're not in charge.
he's just like, yeah, I
You're
got
still a
personal
detective.
connections. He's like, I got personal connections. Too bad for anyone else.
Yeah. So we find out that Elliot knows the family. He goes to talk to the dad of
Yeah.
Janelle. His name is David.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and they served together when they were in the Marines. They said when they were cops, but I think they meant
No, it
Marines
was when they
because
were Marines, but there was like an incident that mentioned when Elliot was a cop that he'd
yeah.
seen him again, but we haven't gotten to that part
And they haven't spoken to each other in 25 years. which is why they're like, oh yeah, this guy's from Elliot's past, but they haven't spoken in 25 years, which is why he just showed up right now.
Mm,
Um, and here they find out that Janelle is. We transition to Janelle in this like room with the motorcycle gang that kidnapped her,
mhm,
and
mhm.
they are called the Cursed Crew.
Yep.
The cool name, fitting.
Mm, mm,
Um, and the guy is basically like, if you want to be okay, your dad is gonna give us what we want,
yep.
because the dad is the leader of the rival gang to the Cursed Crew. Um, we transition to Elliot and David talking, and David is like, "You want me to help you again?" Because we find out that like there was this situation when the two were in the Marines, where basically David saved Elliot's life.
Yep.
Um,
This is on the same scene. There was, yeah, there's something particular David does say about Elliot that like Elliot always wanted to help people, but he says he has good initiative but bad judgment. And I was like, oh,
so true.
like sure, Elliot's not a terrible person all the time. He does generally want to help people, but like it doesn't always go the way he
He's like
expects it to
bad
go.
judgment about like the choices that he makes to
Yeah,
help people.
and then he doesn't regret, no, not necessarily regret, but
Situation
he's not like a
should like
person who's
ever
like, I find,
happen.
if
He
you mess
almost
up,
got
he's not gonna find
Elliot
fault.
killed in Kuwait.
Yeah, Elliot's not the
Um,
person who's gonna be like remorseful about his decision if he makes one that isn't like that's a bad judgment call.
and also like made me remember like that Elliot is a veteran.
Yeah.
Um, as well as a cop, which is like adds to like his like metaphorical like wall of achievements.
Yeah.
Um,
Um,
and then both of them are discussing it and how to like help Janelle. And I think
mhm.
David is the one who says it, and he's like, "You do it your way, I'll do it mine."
Yeah,
And like
because
sounds like
like
something
Elliot
Elliot would.
wants to help, but I don't really remember. I don't think Elliot kind of wants to do it the proper police way.
No, I think for once he actually does.
Oh, he does. I think he
David
does.
does.
Maybe yeah, he for the
David
most
is the
part
one who
wants to
wants to just
follow through.
like go has like this. We'll explain why that is in a little bit. But David is
Mm-hmm.
basically like, no, I want to go rushing to get my daughter. And
Mm-hmm.
Elliot is like, we need to be careful
Yeah, we can't just be wild,
once.
for
And
once.
transition to the bureau and he's squad talking. And we get our first Jet outfit, and Jet is in bi-colored plaid.
It's very cute. I like this.
Both of us had canon Jet as bisexual. So
Mm-hmm.
also the fact that Ainsley is bisexual and was wearing like this pink, blue,
And purple, kind of
purple
like
plaid.
very cute.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. Um,
Her first funny line
they're
of the
talking
episode.
about the leader of the cursed crew, and Jet's first funny line is, "If you want something that will keep you up at night, read his rap sheet like I did."
He was like,
But it's also like, God, what was in there that kept our baby up all night?
mm.
And also,
No, it's
why are
okay.
you? Why did she read it? Like,
And I guess somebody has to, but
if so,
wow.
why her? I mean,
And
like,
she's like,
we
yep.
know she's like, eh, generally speaking terms, Jet is like dark-ish.
Yeah.
I always compared her to Wednesday Adams,
Yeah.
not just because Ainsley played her, but like personality wise. But Wednesday Adams, at least in the musical version, also has a heart
Mhm.
and a conscience and a limit as Jet does. So it's like if this is keeping Jet awake, this dude must be doing some horrible shit.
Mhm. We're just like, well, what did you do? I don't like
Um,
this angle anymore. We're changing it.
then we talk about like how Elliot has the connection to it, and
Yeah.
that David was Elliot's platoon leader. And
Hmm.
then we get this side conversation of Elliot and Ayana talking, and how Ayana can see that Elliot's like closing off again.
Yeah,
And
which is what he
Ayana's like, we
does.
just went through this with Jennings, like friend to friend, like speak to me as a friend.
Yeah,
And
which
it's
I
like,
think is a
okay,
very
good. That storyline
crucial
didn't
thing.
get dropped already.
Yeah, because
So,
the thing happens with FC.
Ayana,
They're just
why
like,
are you? I know you have to act professional, but why are you so calm already?
you know, yeah. I'm like, realistically, these people got some trauma. Jet has some severe trauma. Ayana has some severe
Like,
trauma. There's like,
we'll get to
oh,
that. We'll get
storyline for
to
the
that.
win. Sorry.
Um, I mean, yeah, basically Ayana did all her crying last episode,
Hmm.
but it's like, come on. Yes, we have to move on, but you're talking about it so nonchalantly. Like,
Hmm. I want some feelings. I want some
yeah,
feelings.
exactly. Like, it's
Like you,
okay for Ayana
like I'm sorry,
not
but
to be
yeah,
okay still.
yeah. That's the kind of thing they haven't like talked about. Like even with Elliot, he wasn't okay with not being okay. Like the whole like first season is him acting like a fool because he was not okay with not being okay.
Um,
Uh,
yeah, we
to
wrote
people
like
who write
Elliot
things
starting
for
to act
fun.
up again with like him not like being upfront and everything and going behind Ayana's back and etc. Um, then they transition to
They're the other gang
the
is
other gang
interrogating.
interrogating somebody from David's gang,
Yeah,
and they show like one of the most like almost like
it's
one
pretty,
second
pretty.
later it would have been one of the most graphic things they show on this show
Yeah, but
because
they
they
didn't even
literally
do.
have this guy under a car,
Yeah,
a
and they have
tire
it cranked up.
on his head,
Yeah,
and they're
mm,
slowly cranking it down as they're
yeah.
interrogating him.
What you be cranking?
The heck?
They got one.
Like that's gruesome, but even without the blood and actual crushing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, then
Mm,
we transition to Elliot, Reyes, and Whelan. Like they find a car that's connected to the gang, and they literally break into it. Like, guys, you're cops. You can't just be breaking into cars.
yeah, I can't do that.
Also,
You got a warrant.
Elliot,
You
stop
got,
influencing the young guys.
yeah, you can't be doing the stuff without warrants. Like, come on, y'all. You can't be
Like,
breaking the rules because we feel like
I
it. Like, that's how it's work.
I 99% can guarantee that if Elliot was not there, Whelan and Reyes wouldn't be breaking into the car. Like they
Yeah,
did
that's not something they do. That's not something I would think they would do.
especially because like one of the very first things we learned about Whelan is he hates dirty cops. Dirty
Yes.
cops break into people's cars without
Mm-hmm.
warrants and anything. Um, and then there more cops show up, and
Mm-hmm.
the group is like, "What are you doing here? What are you doing here? What's happening?" Well, we find out that inside the car are guns that are connected to a cartel, which is connected to the rival gang. So the
Yeah.
second group of cops is trying to get the cartel.
Yeah, it's kind of like a circle going on here.
And we also find out that these aren't just any ordinary guns. These are
Mm-mm.
3D printed guns,
Mm-hmm.
which honestly, I didn't know you can make from a 3D printer.
I mean, I know you could make things from a 3D printer, but I never thought you could make things that like
Yeah.
worked. I thought you could make like solid
Well, I knew you
objects,
can
but
make things that
apparently,
work. Like they have like medical devices and
oh yeah,
prosthetic
they do. Yeah, yeah,
instead of
yeah,
3D printers. But I didn't think they could make a gun.
yeah. But apparently, you can.
And we find out um that David is selling guns to Grimes, the rival cartel leader, the rival gang leader, who is selling them back to the cartel. So basically, we start finding out that the reason Janelle was kidnapped is there's a gun issue going on.
Yeah.
Ooh. Um, and then Elliot's on his phone and he's ordering Ayana and Jet around again
Like, come
already.
on, no, we move past this. No, we
It's,
move
dude, you're
past.
not in charge.
Yeah. No,
The
we
only
moved
person who
past
should
this.
be doing
Apparently,
ordering anybody around is Ayana, and she at least does it respectfully.
no, we moved
Like
past this.
like
Apparently not.
literally just boss people around.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and he's basically like telling them to go figure out where these guns came from. And then we transition to Ayana and Jet are talking to the gun guy, who we find out
Mm-hmm.
his name is Bruno.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy like makes this like art pun, and he's like, it's like things are Rembrandt, like Rembrandt or something. And then
Yeah. Just like when
it's
Brent was a
literally like
painter.
they didn't forget the art stuff again.
Mm-hmm.
Thank
Once again,
God.
you get some points back on this episode for that. And
And
this next scene also.
she says Rembrandt wasn't a painter. You mean Michelangelo, the sculptor? And I'm just like, yay!
Yeah.
Like the art, like Jed is literally just a genius in just about anything. But like the
Yeah.
fact that they finally remembered the art stuff again, and now they're using it in more than just one or two episodes, and actually
Yeah.
applying to her job,
They get
kind of.
they get some points back on this episode for the
Yeah.
jet moment. This episode.
I also like that's another thing about Sean that Sean took this small plot point from the pilot and is like,
Yeah. Let's
I'm
use
gonna
that
use
one.
this for Jet now.
Let's use that. And
And
it's
the fact that
fantastic.
like Ainsley like remembered it too, and it was like
Mm-hmm.
he took this from season one and was like, we're gonna use this for your entire arc.
I know, and it's so
Um,
tasteful.
and um, then they're talking about like the guns, and it's like how easy is it to make these, and
Yeah.
um, can anybody like make them? And Jet is like, if they're a genius, yes, but the average criminal, no.
It's funny stuff, dude.
Okay, all right. Uh,
Yeah.
which makes me believe that Jet could probably use a 3D gun if she tried.
Yeah. Jet could probably do a lot of things. She doesn't
She
like
could do
if
so
like
much.
like if Jet was like not a cop, she could do so many things with her hacking skills. But
Yeah, it just I wonder how she got connected to cops because like Elliot
no one
basically
explained that even.
said she like started as like an independent like hacker or something, and then is like, I'm going to bring you into my.
You congratulations. Yeah, someone needs to explain that. Hey now.
We don't know how we got the transition from independent stuff
Like
for
before she
Elliot
was a cop,
connected
we know
to
like
Italy to you're a cop now.
yeah. You only know that like she has a weird relationship with her parents and she was married. And then some kind of way in between and then like her like involvement in like the BDSM club question
We
mark.
don't
And
know
then
how, yeah, and we don't know how she met Elliot
her
either.
her like and then it kind of just like bam, she's a cop. We're like, hold on, there's some plot points here. Like, how did this happen? But okay, pop
Yeah.
off, I
Um,
guess.
watch her not be a rookie, even though we've assumed that she's a rookie.
Yeah. Who knows? Hey,
I mean, we assume she is mainly because of her age, but
who knows? We'll see, I guess. We can only
um, anyway, um, Bruno was like, we're trying to figure out like
Mhm.
Um, like how they're gonna figure out who makes the gun. And Jet is like, we need like a lucky break or something. And the guy does not mean this at all. But he's like, he literally looks at Jet and he said, I love it if we got lucky. And then he stops and he realizes what he said. And Jet gives him the most, are you kidding me? Look. She's like, did you really just say that
Mhm.
to me? And the guy's like, he shuts up immediately. Um, then we transition to Ayana and Jet in the van discussing like their next steps and then like how they're gonna figure out where these guns came from. And Jet's like, I know somebody who can help us. And I'm thinking she's gonna call like this cool contact that she has.
Mhm.
She calls the guys. She calls Wheeler and Reyes who are in the precinct, and she's like, "Guys, go to my desk."
Mhm.
Um,
This is a great, hilarious
this
scene.
scene is hilarious. And then Jamie's like, "Okay, we're at the helm." The fact that Jet's like entire
Yeah, it has a
yeah,
name.
has a name,
I love that.
love it. And then Jamie and Bobby like take a second and they're like looking at her
We
entire
can't get in
setup
this.
because Jet has like 4 or 5 different computers, a whole bunch of keyboards.
Yeah,
Like
it's crazy. It's so good.
they're just like, what? And she's like, okay, go to the second like computer on the right, use the second keyboard, turn it on.
Okay.
Um, and then Jamie says it's asking for your password.
Mm-hmm.
And Jet like takes
It
a
should take
second.
me off the speaker.
She looks at Ayana and remembers Ayana's in the van with her and is like, take me off speaker.
Yeah, it's like nobody can hear my
Um,
pass.
and then she like turns towards the window and whispers the password into the phone
Yeah,
for Jamie to hear it.
yeah.
And he like chuckles and he says, are you for real? Um, and then types it
Yeah.
into the computer. So I went to go watch the scene again. I could not
You couldn't figure it out.
figure it out. I tried. It was too fast.
Yeah, maybe
But
that was the.
there's
We
like
were trying to figure it out. We were trying to figure it out. We're like, what is that? We like watch it and
yeah,
then like,
there's well, to do it in like
hmm,
slow-mo or something. But
yeah,
anyway, there's
you
theories
probably
going
yeah you
around of
can
whether the password is like something sexual or like totally childish that Jet is like nobody can know
embarrassed to
that.
tell them about whatever it is.
Yeah.
She was too embarrassed to say it out loud. Nobody else can know.
But also like it makes me wonder like what could it be that she didn't want Ayana to hear it, but also felt comfortable enough telling Jamie.
Only Jamie, because she didn't let Bobby hear it either. Because he only had the
Yeah,
phone to
yeah.
his ear,
I want
so
Reyes to hear it.
only
It
Jamie
that
heard the
makes me
password.
wonder like what could it be that she trusts Jamie enough to tell him that that's her password?
The pass.
Also, the
We'll
fact
find out.
that she only trusts Jamie with her password, I love it.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah.
okay, so
She's
they
like,
unlock
are
her
you for
computer.
real?
Yeah, and he's like,
He's like, are,
she's just like, move on, do this.
uh,
We're not gonna
he's like, are
discuss the
you for
password
real?
any further.
Yeah.
And so they're in her computer. Um, and they need to go to this certain
Oh, he
website.
says because the scene was like, either are you for real? And she's like, why can't I? Because I'm not sure you have
Yeah, and
opposable
they
thumbs.
need her to like do something, and Jet is like, Reyes, I need you to do it. And
That's to get to like a
like,
secret website.
yeah.
You have to put some secret stuff in to
Wheelan
get
is
to the
like,
Fed.
why can't I? And she said, because I'm not sure you have opposable thumbs.
So you get to like the Fed's website. That's how they get there.
Yeah. And then so Jamie hands Reyes the phone. And he's like, go for Reyes and go for Reyes, which is funny because it's like
Mhm.
this is turning into a spy mission basically. And
It is. It's hilarious.
and Ayana's just in the van there. It's happening. And
Like,
then
what
they
are
pull
those
up
two
this
doing?
like giant like Fed website, and Reyes is like, why does it feel like I'm looking at something illegal? Uh,
It is.
Jet totally nonchalantly is like, relax, feds look at us and I look at them.
And it was like, oh, look at the beds. And I said, Jet, what is Jet doing with those beds?
Jet is freaking tracking the feds.
And I said, oh, Queen, pop off again. Obviously, apparently the
So
feds
mean. But
don't think,
also,
obviously the feds' website is more hackable than they thought.
yeah,
This
also the
is,
fact that the feds have no idea that she's doing this, and she apparently has done this for a while. And
she's watching them.
is honored of
They're watching her, but she's watching them, but they don't know they're being watched.
Yep.
Anyway, that's hilarious. Sorry.
Anyway, they get the information that they need of the address where the guns are being made. And Reyes is like, you got a pen? And she's like, no, I got a brain.
And I was like, oh, I was like, look at that girl's
Yeah.
memory.
I can't snap, but if I would, it'd be snapping.
I can
Yes.
only snap with my left hand. I can't snap with
And
both
then
hands though.
I can't. And then she continues, I can do it with like my nails, kind of. Anyway.
Yeah, I
And
can
she
only
says, and
one
she
only
continues,
left hand.
and she says, and Waylon, if you repeat my password to literally anyone, I will haunt you.
And I was like, oh,
That is such a Jet
whatever.
line. And
I
again,
will haunt
continues
you.
my continues my parallel to Wednesday Addams.
Yeah.
But also it's just like I really wonder what would happen if Jet needed to
But bro,
haunt somebody. I'm very curious what she would
I'd be
do.
hiding. I'm like, bro, what are you doing? How can you haunt someone?
And I was like, this scene is hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then she's like, okay, to Yana, okay, got the address. So they go to the building where the guns are being held. And they're like, are we sure we're in the right place? Because it's like this empty warehouse. And then Jet's like,
Mm-hmm.
yep. And they go, they find this guy. Ayana like points her gun at him and announces herself as
Mm-hmm.
NYPD, and the guy tries to run. And Jet is on the other side of the room, and she said, "Yeah, I'd run too if my gun was used in capital murder."
Yeah, that would kill him.
And they bring the guy in. His name is Jules, and Ayana is um interrogating him about like
Mm-hmm.
guns that he's making and everything. And
Mm-hmm.
there's things about the dad making the deal. David was making like a deal with the cartel, but he was also trying to leave the gang, and it didn't work out.
Yeah, because you can't be leaving gangs. It doesn't work like that, apparently. Unless you join
And then
gangs.
they have Elliot go undercover again,
Blah, 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 blah. Once again, tried that
again.
18 million times.
Yeah. I forget. I don't remember if this was in my head or in the actual episode. Cause Elliot like showed. No, it was early in the episode, and like Elliot showed up at the bar, I think, and like if
Mm-hmm.
people were starting to recognize him, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
honestly, how
Bro
does
gave it away already.
nobody recognize him while he's undercover at this point?
Mm-hmm. Like that
Like
man
that's
looks
why you
familiar.
had to send Jet in because everybody knows who Elliot is now. Nobody knows who she is.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, because
um,
they send, because, hold
oh
on.
yeah, they sent him to go talk to the rival gang leader,
Mhm.
and it doesn't go fully well because now the rival gang leader now wants the guns,
Mm. And
and
they
the
got
gun
make.
maker in order for him to give Janelle back.
Mhm.
Well, they have um they're like, we can't give them the actual gun guy.
Yeah. And also, no one's
So
ever seen the gun guy. They knew nobody knew what he looked like. They
yeah,
came
so
up
they
with
know
this
nobody
plan.
knows what he looks like, so they have Whelan go in as him instead.
Yeah.
Um, and then they transition to a jet with Bruno because they need him to make like a bunch of fake 3D guns to
Yeah. They need.
give
Mhm.
in the deal that they're setting up.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, I'm not exactly a good coder. And Jet's like, okay, bad coder is exactly what I need right now.
Yeah. Because we don't need
Because
you
they
to
need to
make
make
fake.
guns.
It looks
look
real. It feels real.
real, but they don't
Feels
shoot
real.
anything.
Yeah,
They
they
don't
don't
shoot
shoot real
ammo.
bullets.
Um, they don't fire.
Yeah.
Um, and
Yep.
so you remember how I said earlier that Jet could fire a 3D gun?
Yeah.
No, she can fire a 3D gun.
Yep.
Because in that scene, they showed them in the promo pics of like Jet testing out the guns, and
Yeah.
so good.
We were looking at it more. I sent it to you. I was like, damn.
Um, before I continue, I made a point
Mm-hmm.
earlier of like how we said like Jet is traumatized, but the episode
Mm-hmm.
is showing it. I made the prediction in my fic that I wrote that Jet would be hardened and like nothing happened.
Mm-hmm.
And she's right now, she's like she was a lot more like on edge this episode. A lot of her like more sarcastic
Mm-hmm.
sayings were being
Mm-hmm.
used. So it just makes me wonder like is she fully hardening or like are we gonna get her breaking down again?
Yeah, it's a good question. We don't know.
Like part of me is like I want to see it because Ainsley's so good at it, and part of me is like it's not going to be good if Jet holds all this in.
Mm-hmm.
Um. Anyway, then we transition to the squad is there with the game with like the game set up.
Mm-hmm.
And Ayana and Jet are in the van while the guys are in the field, and they're trying to set up the cameras. And Jet is like, service in Bridge Plaza sucks because
Mm-hmm.
she can't get the camera like a camera to work. And Ayana's like, which
Yeah,
camera
that
isn't
probably
working?
because I'm stressing
And
out.
Jet's like, the money shot. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, great. So she has to call the guys and be like, guys, we don't have visual.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And they're kind of
and
just
then they
having the gun war.
feel like Elliot and Reyes like basically like pulling Whelan out of the car with David and is like, here you go. Here's the gun guy. Here's all your guns. Okay, give us back the girl.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then guys from the cartel show up and
Yeah,
it
and they were like,
basically
hold
starts going into
forward.
full-on gun war.
Because they
And
were
they're
like,
like
this
trying to
is not,
protect
they
they're
figured
trying to
out that
protect
is
the
not the
girl.
guy.
They're trying to protect the girl and they're trying to protect Whelan. Um, because he's not armed at this point. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then they all get in their cars and it turns into a car chase, turn car crash,
We're
and
at
they
less
get
than a minute, so it's gonna go boom. So we're gonna, yeah. So
Janelle
you
gets
know what
David.
we're doing.
David gets Janelle back, and they pretend to arrest Whelan. Um, while arresting all the other like guys in the gang and the cartel. But Elliot and then David tries to go kill Grimes, and Elliot's like trying to get him to stop it. He's like, don't like think of your daughter, like you have your daughter back. That's all you wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And he
Mm-hmm.
stops and he goes home with his daughter, and all is well.
The
And then the
actually
last
not the end. There's one more scene.
is Ayana shows up at Elliot's apartment with a bottle of scotch, and she's like, I didn't call because I knew you would say you were fine. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and they talk about David.
And we were literally almost done, and then Zoom was like, "No, you need to make a whole nother Zoom just to finish."
Yep. Okay. So Ayana and Elliot are having a heart to heart over scotch. Um, and Elliot is telling her a story of like how when he first saw Carver David again, um, when he was a cop, because the guy was like arrested for like drugs or something.
Yeah, he's like
And the guy
something.
wanted nothing to do with him. And
Mm-hmm.
Elliot's like, if you ever need me, I'm always a call away.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like a scene of like Ayana supporting him while he's talking about it. And then I think they mentioned Jennings a little bit. I don't fully
Mm-hmm.
remember. Anyway, that's the end.
And that's the end.
I give this one 3 stars.
Yeah, it was just
It wasn't good, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad, it wasn't like perfect either.
Yeah, it was very like we came off this high of really good episodes, and this one is kind of
Now we're just like, eh.
yeah. It really was just kind of well, especially when we know we can do so much better. Come on, we see we have so much better, and now we're just like, yeah. Do we have know what the next week's the episode is called
Yeah,
next?
Chinatown.
Okay, interesting. What does it say it is about? We have no
Uh,
trailers yet, still, so we can't see anything besides the internet knows.
Let me pull it up again. Hold on. Chinatown. When a city council's candidate fundraiser ends in an assassination attempt, Stabler makes it a top priority to find the culprit. Of course he does. Despite Thurman's orders, the local precinct captain is reluctant to let Bell's team take the lead.
Hmm.
Hmm. So, what you're telling me is we get badass Belle standing up for her and herself and her squad.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
It's
please. Please, I will fully accept Jet backing her up, but I would 100% love if the guys backed her up because
yeah, we'll see.
seeing the guys support, like whether it's SVU or organized crime, seeing the male detectives supporting their female captains or higher ups is
Mm-hmm.
just something so impactful. Like they respect them so much that they're like, yeah, they do their job well and they're badass at it. And nobody's going to tell them otherwise or us otherwise.
Yes. And the group with the youngins just are fun people.
Yes, I love the youngins.
We call them the youngins.
Yep. We call them the youngins, and I'm pretty sure two of them are older than me. So
Yeah, but they're so as a group considered their group, their mentality is all the youngins. Like they're
like
all just
Jet is the youngest, and then Whelan, and then Reyes.
yeah.
Because Reyes is a dad with three kids. So
Mm-hmm. Which they did have those promo pics and they showed, and then never talked about that ever again.
we know he has three kids, but we know
He has a
nothing.
daughter and two sons, and we
Yeah,
know one of them is Bobby Jr. The son of the son is Bobby Jr. And that's
no,
it.
he's got a daughter, two sons, and one of them is named after him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all we know. There's pictures of them. There's pictures of his wife, and then they cut that scene apparently and never used it.
We have at least seen his wife.
Yeah, they cut the scene, so they cut a lot of scenes that don't relate to the main
And
storyline.
they had Ayana
Apparently,
meeting his family too, so we don't really
yeah,
know.
yeah. But apparently, I think it was Ainsley who said that like they cut a lot of scenes that aren't relevant to the storyline.
Yeah.
So,
She even said that like a lot of the scenes are with her and Danielle.
they cut them out because
And
they weren't relevant to the story.
uh in the episode Punch Drunk, she's like, I'm glad that we finally have a scene between the two of us that wasn't cut.
Mm-hmm. So we're just like, oh, that's how it is, apparently.
Yeah. How
Just
many of them have we
establishing.
not gotten? Can we see them, please?
Come on, please. We need some like outline with the other characters. Like, come on now, please.
Please.
We've done a lot of since we had to make a whole nother Zoom just to talk. We've done writing on a bunch of stuff and things. Working on
A
stuff.
lot.
Hold on.
Some stuff, some angst, some smart,
Yeah,
some all three.
come back eventually. I'm gonna put this, try to upload, get this edited, finish editing this, and put this up to be posted tomorrow, which is Saturday.
Yep. We have a
Then we have
shift
to, we don't have
that,
two
that
Wednesdays.
I love that we literally just came up with out of the blue one day and is now one of our favorites. I
Yeah,
think we're probably like the only people who ship these two characters.
oh yeah, probably.
And
We got some good
wait
stuff coming up.
for you guys to see it.
We
because I
gotta
want to
convince.
know
We
what.
can convince one of our friends of this, but we'll do it later. We can go convince her of this. We have two more. We have to. This will be. We gotta figure out more content because we have like two more Wednesdays that we don't have content. We'll figure it out. We may do a live one day. Maybe next weekend we might do a live and do a let's talk about fix writing live. We'll see. We haven't figured out what we're gonna do yet, but what
Mm-mm.
else? I think I covered everything we needed to talk about. That's, I want to edit, and then I want to keep writing. I want to keep writing. So I think we covered everything.
Sorry, I was getting frustrated about work stuff again. I'll tell you when we stop recording. Um, yeah, I think that's all we have.
Mm-hmm. I will. That is all.
I'm trying to think.
That's it.
Was there any? Oh, we got new Raoul photos.
You did. You did an award show last night, didn't you? You did. We were like, this man's. We was big because he's never active on Twitter, except like occasionally. So we're like, is this man alive? We're like, oh, there he is.
Like,
Yes, he did. Yeah,
like he's fully going into his Silver Fox era, and
yeah.
I'm totally okay with it.
Yeah, my sweatshirt, my hoodie, which you can't tell because it's dark, is the Barba hoodie I used to wear all the time because I
You
have my
have a Barba
pajamas on.
hoodie?
I do. Like the Barba shirt that I have, it's like a hoodie, but it didn't print as well on the hoodie.
This
They
is
didn't.
like the besides the like SVU the jet shirt.
Yeah,
This is my other.
yeah.
This is
I
my
have a
other.
notebook too. It's at my dorm.
In a Barba
Right here.
notebook, and he's
Yeah,
wearing his favorite outfit of mine.
yeah. That's one of
His
my favorites too. That's one of my widgets on my phone. But like, it
I
didn't
wrote
print as well. I have this shirt, but it doesn't print as well on a hoodie, so it doesn't look as good. But like, I have my pajamas on under this, and I was looking. I'm not gonna go under.
I've written in like first like a few
So me, this
fixed
is my
things.
very bum era. My
I
bonnet
have
and my
notes.
hoodie on.
I honestly just keep it on my like bench by my bed just so it's
It's
there
there. It's
because
there.
I like don't like fully know what to write in it, and I can't really bring it to my other job because it
Mhm.
that would be weird.
Yeah, I think we
Okay,
covered everything there is to talk about today. So we're gonna get back to writing because that's fun stuff. So thank you all for listening to The Truth Runs Deep.
thank you.
We're back. We should be fairly consistent. Uh,
Hopefully, I don't know. I start school again.
yeah,
I'm
you
doing
start
going to
school again.
gymnastics
I'm
and
cool. I
all.
don't still in school. Yeah, I gotta get myself together. Uh, yeah. So I think that's all we got for now. But thank you all for listening. Um, follow us on
Love
like
you guys.
Instagram and Twitter if you want to know what we're up to, because you never know what might happen.
Half of my
Check out
page
our
is
tips.
probably half of my page is probably wicked content this week, but you know, I hope you enjoy that anyway.
Yeah, we have so you can check out our archive of our AO3s, which our AO3s might as well be the same because literally most of our fics we write are with each other. Like most of the fics on
Yeah,
our both of our accounts are
like
with each other.
yeah, our Twitter handles are our AO3
Yeah. Yeah,
user.
mine is a little captain, little abbreviation for Captain Barson, and yours is
KLK 16.
Carrie 16. Yes. No, I'm so loud. I just have terrible asthma. So I think that we are all we have right now. So we're gonna get back to work. It's also like very late. Not that late, but it's late. It's the peak writing hours for us actually. So we're going to keep writing. So thank
I
you all for
should,
listening.
like, who knows, but you know.
I know who knows, you may just fall asleep. You never know.
Thank you for listening. We love
Thank
you
you for
guys.
listening. Love you guys.
Bye.
Bye. Oops, I didn't hang up yet.